Let's Play, where we roll dice and we play games. You've joined us for our weekend campaign titled Still Hearts. This is our first ever episode, so welcome. You haven't missed anything because this is number one, so you're good to join us. So before I begin, my name is Max, I'll be the DM. Joining us, we have 4 out of the 5 players. Starting off down below, we have Robbie, we have Frey, we have Missing Person, then we have Cassie, and then we have Jack at the end.
Yeah.
So hello. So we don't usually have like announcements, like episode 1, why would there be announcements? But this time we do. We have an announcement, a very important announcement to make. It is Cassie's birthday.
Oh,
Yay!
So if all of you could join me in singing happy birthday.
No.
I'm not doing that. I'm recovering from a goddamn cold and I've made a gruff accent.
Just a symphony of very hoarse voices.
All
Happy
different
birthday.
times.
Happy birthday.
A little bit of Marilyn Monroe in there, Jack, I heard. That's very
I don't know. I'm not inflicting my singing voice on anyone, and I made the choice to play a bard.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
someone in chat's wishing you a happy birthday as well, Cassie.
Thank you, random
boom.
person.
Happy birthday.
Only last line, not time. There you go.
So before we begin, is there anything else we need to say, need to do? Do we need to plug anything?
If you want to watch the episodes again, watch them back, you can go on our YouTube, where we also stream and post the episodes after, and follow us on Instagram for any kind of announcements of when the next episodes or videos are going to come out. Also, if you want to get familiar with the world or the setting of this campaign, we have like a little intro video on our YouTube made by our lovely DM, Max.
Hello, it's me.
It's him.
So that's pretty much it. So just follow us everywhere. Just not our homes, please. Thank you. So
We need privacy.
we need our privacy. That's very important.
Speak for
Okay.
yourself.
Then, like Jack, create an OnlyFans if you want, mate. Do whatever you want. So we're going to begin. Before we jump right into where the players are, I'm just going to do a little bit of an introduction. So we are currently set in the continent of Calzaria. The continent itself is quite a large and expansive world, one of many in the world that is called Kurthaic. Calzaria is home to many different races, people, backgrounds, ideologies, but they all live together in harmony. Although being separated in different factions, they still have a cohesiveness to them. Our party members have found themselves traveling through the Whispering Woods. These woods are synonymous or have a history of slightly dangerous and old-kept secrets, both sinister and twisted as they would have been in the past. However, recently, these woods have been cleansed of all of these bad notions and is almost open and free to travel without any dangers. The only thing that's left behind from the kind of Whispering Woods that it's called are the very strange-looking twisted oak trees that rise upwards, both thick-trunked and thin. They all twist and bend and reach upwards towards the skies, going no higher than about 20 foot, 30 foot in height towards their main trunk. The branches themselves do not hold any leaves as they are currently blooming as spring is just kind of finishing now and summer is just around the corner. All of the colors are becoming more brighter and brighter as summer begins to come into full swing. The weather around this area where the party currently find themselves in is quite warm, it's temperate. Calzaria has some very different biomes, but the Whispering Woods is one which is a mild sensibility to itself, nothing too dangerous or too garish in changes. But the party have found themselves traveling with a traveling circus, a troupe comprised of many oddities and strange individuals who have formed a band to entertain the masses. They are traveling from the small town held within the Whispering Woods of Lindell and are now on their way to one of the main cities of this region called Trasvilar. Trasvilar is a city, a holy city. It's referenced as the last bastion. It is known as this place of religion, but also strength and integrity. People can live there and worship whoever god they wish. But during this time, the party are about 2 or so days away as they travel in this large convoy. And this is where we kind of focus on the story now. So it is about midday at this point. You've been traveling for the better part of 5 hours. The sun is high, but it is starting to wane and kind of lower slightly. Traveling through in this large troop, there's about 8 caravans long, and you each have like different animals of burden who are currently carrying and pulling these different size carts. You have horses, you have large goats, you have crustaceans that are built the size of a house and they're carrying these large wagons, and the entire circus and performance of this group is held within these boxes and these kind of caravans. But as we kind of roll, you're continuing on your journey, and what we're going to do is we're going to go one by one to each one of you and where you guys currently are. So we're going to focus first on Robbie, your character. So if you could describe either in the caravans, adjacent to the caravans, it's not a fast-moving troop. You are traveling at a steady pace. There's no rush necessarily, but you can walk beside it. You can go within the carts themselves. So if you wish to describe where your character is and what they look like in these actions.
So we all have our own carts, right?
You do,
So
yes.
okay. So Ven's probably staying inside of his caravan unless called otherwise. But Ven is a blue, tall tiefling with long, kind of dark magenta hair pulled up into a ponytail. He has 2 pair of horns, one at the front, which are smaller, and one in kind of the back/middle. He is dressed in this like light outfit with a corset and kind of has butterfly motifs throughout his outfit. He has yellow eyes, and the other notable thing is like the black choker necklace that he has.
Okay. And what does the cart itself that you find yourself in, because you're in your own, isn't the biggest, it's not the most lavish, it's built more for practicality. What the Mischievous Marauding Martets do, this traveling circus, is they have a few caravans which are used for either storage or they're used for either people who join in last minute, kind of helpers and workers for the circus, kind of join in the caravans, even travelers like yourself. So if you could roll a D120 for me to see what quality of caravan that you have gifted to you.
So a D20.
Just a straight D20, yeah. You want to get the highest number possible, so
14.
So you're not in any storage. You're in a very nice kind of lavish setup. One of the kind of rooms left to people who join the circus and kind of work for the day. So you have like a nice little bed, small little desk, very similar to Thedane's, who you've seen kind of just briefly through kind of like the doorway and so on and so forth when you had a conversation with him yesterday. Yeah, you have a nice room to yourself. Is there anything that you would kind of personalize in this room? You have a few days here, so.
He would probably like bring in like a vase with little flowers and pretty it up a little bit, probably clean up if there was any dust, which I'm assuming there was if it wasn't used. Bring in some pops of color here and there, just so it's not too monotone or boring during the travels. But yeah, he would probably also have like his little journal on the table if there was one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. As you are by yourself, just kind of minding your business and just relaxing a little bit, it is comforting to kind of sit in these beds as it is rocking and rolling, because you do kind of get that back and forth, slightly ease as you would in a baby in a crib, for example. It's just kind of quite relaxing. The road itself here is very well maintained, so it's not like a rickety ride or anything like that. And these carts are well built to kind of take on any of these dangerous surroundings and uneven floors, because they do travel fair long distances. But as you are there kind of relaxing by yourself, you do see that shadow entity just kind of sat in the chair by the desk, and is just kind of tapping the side of their chin. Very pointed chin. Their eyes kind of have that misty glow to them, and horns slightly rising upwards, giving them a very kind of slender but quite long-looking set of limbs and just body type in general. They don't seem to be talking. They just kind of like look to themselves, look around the place, and tap their chin a few times.
Do I think they want to talk about something or are just bored and want company?
You can roll an insight check if you want to.
Yeah, sure. Let me pull up my character sheet and
So is that the
is
same as
a
your insight?
14 again.
Is that the same as your insight? You're not proficient?
Oh, whoops. I clicked on the wrong button. My bad.
It's okay.
It's gonna be another 14.
Oh, mine says +5. So.
Add a, okay, 19.
Yeah.
So kind of staring at them, it's always hard to gauge their tone because they do shift back and forth. From what you can kind of gather from the way that they exude themselves, there is a sense of they're there to talk if you're looking to talk. They aren't going to start the conversation. You do see there is this almost like they're every so often tapping against their chin and tapping against the table, and it's almost like this awkward kind of just sat there, not knowing what to do.
I think considering that now they're around a lot more people who can just kind of waltz in, he's not gonna start up any particular conversation yet. But yeah. He might go check up on some of the other party members. See if they're hungry, if Ben can cook up something for them.
Okay. So as you begin to kind of proceed with the rest of your day, we're going to go over towards Frey now. So Frey, if you could describe where your character is and what they look like and what they're up to. Mhm. Okay.
Oh, just quickly, you can't hear Frey's microphone in stream.
Oh no.
Not this
If you
again.
just add in the input capture, it should be fine.
Okay. We'll move on quickly to
Yeah.
to Cassie.
Wow.
So Cassie, Bethagel, if you could describe
Fucking sure.
if you could describe where your character is, what they're up to.
Thorn is probably sticking next to Sienna's side. And even though she was given her own sort of caravan, she does not use it, and she stays with Sienna's. Depending on what the room is, they'll stay with the one that is most comfortable for both of them. And if there are times to stop, she will just, from a sort of a distance, an inch closer to the horses, she's just admiring them and seeing, what's up with them, what they're like. But other than that, she's weirdly like almost stalking people as if they're making any stops. She's like circling the perimeter and looking at people, observing them, seeing how they act, what their mannerisms are. But other than that, she's an all black, like every rogue should be. She has a sword at her side, with 2 daggers on each side, and this cloak, with a symbol on the back that is a circle of leaves with a blue jay in the middle with its wings open, and then 3 bees, which 2 on each wing, and then 1 in the center. And she also has this headband that she has over her head, and these just yellow cat-like eyes. And that's it.
Okay. Could you roll 2 d20s for me?
Okay.
And this will decide what sort of room you guys are sharing.
Uh-oh.
So if you could roll again.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey.
So the two of you don't really have many good rooms associated. They're mostly used for storage, but they've been cleared out of the storage boxes, and you've been left with these kind of hammocks that interconnect from where the poles to separate the storage bins and the kind of large carcasses of cargo, and they've kind of like tethered these hammocks for the two of you to sleep in one caravan to yourselves. It's a little bit musty, a little bit kind of just left to the wayside a little bit, this room, but it's practical. Doesn't really have any windows either, just small slits for bits of natural light to come in, which is probably ideal for what you're looking for. When you are kind of looking around and skulking and kind of checking out everyone, I'd like you to roll a perception check and a stealth check.
Oh, okay. Okay. Perception and stealth. I'm good at both of those. I'll roll a 7. Oh, that's actually better than a 7. Okay.
Okay, and a stealth check as well.
Stealth. Yes, sir. Hey.
Okay. So I imagine every so often you're looking through that kind of like slit, seeing who's around, getting out as well, and just checking the general surroundings. You can see that the Mischievous Marauding Martets, there aren't many of them. There's a lot of the performers, but it seems to be only performers. And there's not like any staff or anyone that helps out. It just seems to be the circus act are the ones putting in the work. They may hire if need be. You did see a couple of the Lindell kind of both residents as well as some of the outriders helping in building the circus tents and just kind of like actively there on the premises. But for the most part, it's just them. And
I honestly, I think she's also just like constantly giving a stink eye to Hunter. She's just watching him and just being like, just glaring and sneering at him.
with that, I'd say at one point you do see him walk past with another individual. Hunter himself, he is from the side profile that you're currently seeing in this kind of moment in time. You see like the 4 dragonborn dark scales, large kind of scaly head that kind of rises backwards slightly to a point, horns rising up as well. And you see that kind of draconic eye does turn and see you. And then at one point, it does kind of like give off the entire form, and you see the other half of him, which is like split down the middle, that dark onyx skin tiefling, regular humanoid-looking face, but with the infernal features, and another horn that rises outwards as well, following the same kind of pattern and design as the other side. You see he looks over towards you, and he just gives like this strange, odd look, and he's currently walking beside another person. Now, Hunter isn't the tallest individual. His horns make up for most of his lack in stature. But the person sat next to him and walking alongside, you see that she is like 6'1.5" or so, very tall, wearing these thick, large leather boots. But she herself is quite kind of lean and slender, wearing this kind of short crop top black leather jacket over her side. You can see this very kind of sandy beach skin color with patterns and tattoo ink, it looks like, but not of black, but rather copper and kind of like a greenish tint of it. Goes from this orangey to a very kind of oxidized coppery green color to it. As you see her, she's got like this heavy black eyeliner, humanoid features, but she isn't human. She seems to be a bit more kind of ethereal with the way that she presents herself. You see that her hair isn't hair, but rather these kind of tendrils that just float in space around her. They're almost like small tentacles that act as like, think of dreadlocks in a way, large and just kind of comes out to long, slender tips at the very ends. But her whole outfit and form looks like she's caught almost on the water. As she walks, you see the jacket almost float around her midsection, as well as the hair itself does seem to kind of just oscillate and move back and forth without the wind or anything else. It just seems to hover there. But you see the two of them are just kind of like talking to each other. She kind of looks very flippantly towards him. Doesn't really give a fuck, it seems. But he's kind of like distrusted her at this point and is now like focused on you. Where are you in this moment? Are you outside or are you in your character?
Probably outside.
Okay. You see he just kind of looks over. Hey, everything all right?
Fine.
Well, do you need a drink or something?
No.
Okay. He just kind of like looks away. She's a little bit feisty. I think you'll like her. And he just kind of continues to walk on. Meanwhile, this feminine figure just looks over towards you and just scowls and just keeps walking forward alongside Hunter
I
as they
think
go towards the front of the pack.
Thorn, like clocking this woman, she's like, all right, she's cool. Just to herself.
If you want to, you can roll a history check to see if you know what race she is, what
Sure.
species.
I would love to. All right. Yep.
No
That makes
clue.
sense.
No idea. Natural one.
My birthday.
You start thinking back quickly, but you don't remember. You've never seen anything like her before, and
I'm
that
just
kind
blown
of
away by her coolness. She's like, ah.
very, very punk rock look. Very, yeah. She definitely gives an aura of don't give a fuck. As she just continues to walk onwards. So, as that's Thorn, we'll pass over towards Jack. So, Jack, if you could describe where your character is currently and what they're up to.
Yeah, Fodane would just be in his cabin. Just probably still going over any files he's got on him. Just passing the time. As for how Fodane looks, I am playing a dwarf, and a dwarf on the short side at that. I come up to 3'8", which we checked is roughly crotch height for the rest of the party, so that's going to be fun for me. That was sarcasm. I'm not going to be that kind of bard. Yeah, he's dressed rather well. So he's got a suit on, mostly greys, red lining, red tie. He wouldn't be wearing his coat inside, but normally he's wearing a duster, which black, red lining, and a leather flat cap. Yep. Beard, it's fairly close shaven for a dwarf. Honestly, not too dissimilar from mine. And unlike me, he has hair, the lucky bastard. He's just going over some files and that he's been with the circus a while, so he's seen everyone. Wouldn't be really looking to do the rounds, as it were. That's Fodane right now.
Excellent. And as you said, you've been with the circus for a little bit, traveling with them. Your room is pretty much decked out with all your things. You've placed them in very, would you say, in neat orders or in a bit more scatterbrain approach?
There is a method to it, but not obvious to someone new, I'd say.
So you do have your kind of like things placed where you would normally keep them. A bit more out of the ordinary, but you know where they are, so it doesn't really matter. You have your place set up. And as you're kind of going through all of your books, all of your kind of bits of notes, you hear a knock at the door.
Yeah, I'll get up and open it. How's it going? How are you doing?
Hello. You see Dargar there, the leader of the troop. He kind of looks at you, this Loxodon, big-bellied, very kind of the Greatest Showman sort of attire going on, small top hat atop his very large half elephant, half man hybrid sort of look to him. He looks towards you. Fodane, you've been looking for some information, right? Personal belongings that have gone missing?
Yeah. Before it's twins, has anything else gone missing?
No. I've actually come across a file. I don't know why, but it was left in my room. But here, and he holds it out to you. He kind of like gives you the documents. You can see they've kind of like been scattered a little bit. Some of the documents have been placed in different fold. Like there's a binder that you have with the information of this missing file that you had, and as you begin to go through it, you can see that it is this file, this binder, but all the papers are being kind of like mismatched and put around and misplaced. So someone's rifled through it. He kind of hands it to you with a slight embarrassed look. I don't know how it ended up in my room, but I am deeply sorry. And he passes it over.
Yeah, I would like to. I want to see if he's lying. See if I can glean.
Sure, you can roll an insight check.
And because of body language, the feature you gave him the Max created the subclass for the viewers. It's very cool.
College of Journalism.
I get advantage if I'm suspicious on insight checks.
So go for it.
Advantage. 16.
You can see that he is quite sheepish in how he's kind of like coming across. There is an element of embarrassment that he has, but you can also sense that there is almost an anger inside of him, because you get the impression that no one's been in his room. You've never seen anyone walk in his room, out his room. It's only ever been him. And him kind of like handing over these papers, slightly frustrated. You get the sense that he's quite genuine in his approach, and he seems very offended that someone's even entered his room, let alone placed your things in it. So he just kind of like hands it over to you with this very kind of sheepish look still. I've looked around for evidence, but if you wish to inquire yourself, I will allow it.
That's much appreciated. First of all, I'll have a look through these, see if I can glean anything from that, but then I'll probably have a word with some people. I won't get too accusatory, as it were. Rather not cause any
please do, Fodane. You have my permission to interrogate every single member of this troop. I want to know who was in my room! You see, he kind of like holds himself back for a moment. But, of course, we go through the regular procedure. I await to hear from you. And you see he begins to walk off to his room.
Right. Okay, Agriloxodon could probably crush me with a foot. That's not fun. Okay. I'd like to go through the files, but also with the knowledge that I'm terrified.
If you could roll an investigation check for me at advantage, as you're going through your papers, you know them, you've been through them. Although you don't have like a keen mind, once you start seeing the paperwork and the documents, it starts all clicking into place, and you can kind of a beautiful mind the situation. As you are going through these documents with the 22, you can see that they have been rifled with. The papers themselves have been folded over. Some of them seem to be a bit more kind of dirtied and broken apart. It seems there is like elements of dirt and it seems like some grass on them. You know that they were left on a tree stump in Lindell, taken by the twins, the halfling twins. So perhaps someone's been in the woods rifling through this paperwork, either has set them on the ground, quickly gone through them, and then has left slight bits of contaminant on the documents. But in terms of any bits of clues that you can find, one thing seems quite clear. One of the documents has been examined quite extensively. You can see one of the documents, and this individual is known as Anderos Kilmer. Going through the documents, you see that he was a nobleman from Leronce, has some ties and affiliations with the Reserve. The Reserve is this conglomerate, this association, this body of essentially inventors and investors, people who get a plan, get a business idea, venture. If they accept it, they will invest into it, and then they'll kind of like build them up and help them along the journey. So this can be individual inventions, this can be large displays or infrastructures, anything of the kind. The reserve will and are always open to listening and investing. With that, you see that the ties that you have with Anderos Kilmer is to do with his affiliation with his wife. It seems that there was some complications. You were told to investigate him because of some misdeeds that he was doing in the middle of the night, slipping out, returning home late, the classic cases that you would follow. So this is no exception from what you're used to. In terms of this individual document that you can see listed as tampered with the most, there seems to be this almost like a certificate of authenticity, like you scanned it, you made like a copy of, and just kind of kept it with you. These were documents that were handed to you by the wife to give you a general background of him, and you can see that in this sketch, you can see his diploma, his kind of certificate authenticity to allow access and to make these reserve purchases and agreements. So whoever has been going through this paperwork has been looking at his official documents very intensely.
Right. Okay. Okay. Trying to think of anything else I can check, but long shot, is there anything that looks to have been removed, as in I could have sworn there was something else in these files?
I'd say with the 22, you notice that nothing's been taken out, but they were very messy.
Would I get the impression that it looked like it was rushed? Like they were trying
Definitely. It seemed like it was like a last minute thing. Because if someone were to be doing this and then place tampering evidence in someone else's room, you would expect them to at least package the papers in the same order, as well as clean out any contaminant that was placed in there, be it by accident or on purpose. So whoever did this was either an amateur, in a rush, or someone who doesn't know what they're doing.
Right. With now knowing the reserves involved, I'm leaning towards in a rush as opposed to amateurs. Didn't know what they're doing is still possible if they've never done this kind of thing before. Now I'm gonna clear off the files, reorganize them, and get them back in my folder. Then I'm gonna get my coat on, and I'm gonna see about if I can find any kind of clues or suspicious people. Let me just check one spell I've got specifically for how long it lasts. That's Gift of Gab. For some reason I'm not getting the description. There it is. How long does... Oh, that's not as long as I thought it was.
I think Gift of the Gab is like a minute.
No, Detect Thoughts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay then. Yeah, so I'm gonna walk out and see if I can find the twins, first of all. As it's more to rule them out than anything else. I doubt they were approached again.
Sure thing. So you begin to head out of your caravan, look around for the halflings. But before we get there, we'll jump over to Frey. So Frey, hopefully it's all working on your end now.
Chat confirm if you can hear Frey.
Frey, give us a lovely ballad. Sing happy birthday. Oh, damn.
Try just doing like input source and then your normal mic. It should be fine. Damn it. Someone get Ilya over here. Thank you, chat, though, for confirming.
Okay. So, as we still manage the technical difficulties, we will continue with Ven. So, Ven, as you are kind of in your own room, managing your own time, you begin to head out and look for the others.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, as you begin to head out, one of the first people you do see is Thorn. You see Thorn just kind of like stood there, currently kind of like arms crossed, I imagine, looking over towards Hunter as he's walking away from her. But you do see Thorn. Sienna is kind of just by the side, sitting on one of the kind of caravan helm positions where one of the horses are currently being pulled along. And you see that she's just kind of there. Kind of got her blade out, this long kind of katana blade. You see she's just kind of like wiping it with a stone onto the ground. And she's just leaning and watching.
I approach Thorn. Hey, we haven't actually properly met or introduced each other. I'm Ven. And he puts his hand out.
She looks at your hand and then looks away and she just says, I'm Thorn.
Sorry, what did you say?
I'm Thorn.
Oh, no, nice to meet you. And he kind of like awkwardly puts his hand down. Have you and Sienna been friends for a long time?
Few months, at least.
Oh, well, I talked to her a bit during the circus. She seems really nice.
She is. She's very nice.
Well, since we'll be traveling together, I know Sienna mentioned you like strawberry cake, but is there anything else you like to eat?
She'll sort of think for a second. It almost looks like she's ignoring you, but she's literally just like staring at the ground in thought. And she just thinks for a second and just says, I don't know, I like strawberries.
Anything else?
She genuinely does not. She doesn't know. She's just staring like, what do I like?
Alright, well,
She doesn't know.
I'll keep the strawberries in mind and then, I don't know, maybe you can try some new food and figure out what you like.
Okay. That cake you made, it was good.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah,
I could
whatever.
teach you sometime if you want.
I don't care that much.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go find the others, see if they're maybe hungry.
Okay.
It was nice getting to chat with you, though.
As
he walks away, or
as you head towards back to Sienna as she's there, just kind of like cleaning her sword. As that kind of awkward moment at the end just filters away into the ether, the two of you, even Sienna, kind of notices and looks up. The other set of caravans, there's like two conveys basically side by side, and you can see on top of one of them, on top of the canopy, there is a silhouette of this kind of very slender looking individual that you can see just resting on top, legs crossed. At least it looks like their legs are crossed. You see this kind of no hands, arms behind their back, looking up around towards the branches, like in the trees, and looking at the different birds. You hear whistling. You hear like the birds chirping, and from this individual, you hear this beautiful flute sound that just kind of like begins to spread out into the air, and everyone in the kind of caravan set can hear it. You'll hear this kind of like a pan flute, essentially, just on the air, this whistle as it continues. And as your eyes kind of focus for a moment on this individual, you see that their top half, their main body seems to be that of a bird, an Aarakocra. You see this kind of blue and yellow feathered bird. The feathers themselves in an Aarakocra, they are separate from the arms. You can see they are just a set of wings on the back, and they are currently folded in and kind of mesh in with the rest of the body. Meanwhile, their head, large and bulbous, you see that this long beak has several holes in the side of it, like a flute itself. You see as they kind of breathe outwards, there is a tune that begins to play as if they are playing an instrument, but their mouth is the entire instrument itself. They whistle, and this beautiful sound begins to resonate. And then you see their hands rise up. The bird part of them is that of a kingfisher bird, like the kingfisher bird head, long beak. But then you see kind of like these, not long, but thin arms rise up from the side of its torso, almost like they were stitched onto its body. You see these slender, like monkey arms, primate arms, slight bit of orangey fur against the arms. You can see the fingers themselves seem to be 5 ambidextrous, and they are playing against those holes in the side of the beak. And you see it just kind of plays and plays, and then as it continues to play, you watch as its body begins to kind of almost writhe upwards like a snake, and you see where the midsection of their body is, where the bird feathers descend downwards. They begin to meet a very slick and slender serpentine lower half, almost stitched together as well. You see this green and yellow striped bottom snake body just writhe upwards as it continues to play on this kind of fluty beak, and just kind of looks around as the birds begin to chirp and fly around. The two of you can roll history checks if you want to see if you can discern what this person is.
Me?
Both
What?
of you, yeah.
What
Okay.
the fuck is this thing?
I wish I could roll.
Good lord.
History, right? Yeah. A
23.
A smaller A.
It's high enough. The two of you understand what this creature is. There is an element of it that seems to be Yuan-Ti, but you quickly rule that out with the rest of the body. You have heard and have seen individuals like this. This person is known as an amalgam. Amalgams are a race that have been created and forged, similar to that of a warforged, a man made completely out of metal and the earth and the general surroundings, like a robot with emotions. There is amalgams who are comprised of, to put it in better terms, leftovers and remnants of dead people. They are being stitched together and given a new lease on life. The amalgams do not have a memory, nor do they have a recollection of who they were in their previous life. The person who stitched them together, this entity known as Patchwork, they have given them a new semblance of life. A new soul has entered the body once it was formed. And you see that this person is no different. They, many, many years ago, were seen as a threat, living in the Underdark. They were dangerous. They were the undead epitome of, you have stolen parts of my livelihood, my family. You have disgraced us. But they're now seen as this race of a new beginning, of the potential to be something else. And you see there's no different for this individual, who just kind of like begins to sing, seems to usher no harm. You see birds begin to chirp down and land on his shoulders as he continues to play against his beak. But yeah, you just see them there minding their own business, playing along.
We can assume they're part of the circus, right?
Yeah, they're wearing this kind of like yellow and red combination that seems to be the main theme of this troupe.
Okay. What is this? Like, are they common, or is it still a rarity to see them?
It's a rarity enough, but there are some areas in the world that seem to be a bit more common, commonality. Calzaria specifically has segments of the towns and cities that have a lot of amalgams in them, but no more than 100, if that. They mainly stick to the Underdark. That seems to be where their hub, their home is. And with a 13, unfortunately, you wouldn't really know this, Ven, but for Thorn, you've heard of the name the Mismatch Hovel, and that seems to be where they reside from. You've met a couple, you've kind of just heard the stories, and that seems to be their origin, their home.
Is this... Have I seen in my past something like this before?
I'd say you've probably seen amalgams, yeah.
Okay.
This is not a strange new sight for you, especially with what you've seen. This is kind of like no big shock.
Yeah.
Does the like playing of the flute seem to be in any kind magical, or is it just more like ambiance for travel?
You don't see any magic being kind of outputted from this. It just seems to be a very calming song. Nothing chirpy, nothing kind of like ready for battle type music, but it's just this kind of calming, just soothed voice that just echoes, and you see the birds seem to enjoy it at least.
Yeah, Ben's gonna look at them for a bit, just enjoying the music, but is probably gonna go try to find Thodane.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So as you begin to head off and look for Thordane, Frey, how's it going? Have you got it working yet?
I think I did one test earlier, but it came out a bit quiet. But I'm just waiting on some feedback now.
Can we hear Frey, audience? It works!
Yay!
Frey's
did
here!
He just got here.
Fine. Cool.
Here we go.
So
Frey, take it away, mate.
Fennel has been going up and down the troupe, getting to know people. He's never seen a circus, heard of a circus before, so to him this is a interesting curiosity as he tries to learn as to what it's about and what it entails and what they do and their purpose, and see how that compares to what he's experienced in the past. But Fennel himself is a Triton, so he's got scaly skin, but it's still rather soft. It's a blue hue and black slick hair that's been combed away. He's got decorative corals and shells on necklace and in his hair, slightly braided. And he wears what looks like, or at least used to be, lavish clothes, again in kind of blue and sea kind of colours. But it's a bit worn away. He's travelled a little bit, so it's not quite as vibrant as it maybe once been. That's in short who he is and what he's put up and what he's up to right now with the troupe. It's to see what everyone is and perhaps encourage Thorn to see the beauty of it.
You can try.
Yeah,
Just
he'll try.
If you can, bring up your volume a little bit.
Okay, does need to go up a little.
As long as it's hitting the yellow bar, it should be fine.
Yeah, it's hitting it sometimes. I can.
Just swallow your microphone, mate.
Don't do that, please.
Oh.
That's for Patreon. No, I'm kidding.
That's what Patreon. Right, okay, well, hopefully that's better.
That's the After Dark show.
Jesus Christ.
Alright, it's on
So-
200% now on OBS, so if it's still too quiet, I'll just keep on going up until we reach the heavens.
Until everyone's like, my ears.
Until everyone on Twitch has gone deaf.
Echoing.
So for now,
across the
as you've been going back and forth with the troop members, you kind of get to understand everyone. You get a good understanding of who they are, what they do. We'll just go through them slightly quickly. So you come across Dargar quickly, the Luxodon. He's just walked away from Thodane, and you see he's just kind of like charging ahead. You see he's kind of like got a scowl on at the moment. As soon as you approach, would Fennel approach? Or
Oh, I
you
don't
think he
know. Like,
understands?
recognizing that face, like, well, that's not a face that's currently enjoying the circus at the moment. So let's move over to somebody more interesting than that.
He just marches past, and you've noticed, like, as you've been talking to Dargar, there is a sense that he is quite ginger with how he moves. He's as soft as a mouse, but as you see him kind of angered, he leaves stomps behind as he's kind of like, you see there's like bits of ground and gravel that have been shifted and pushed down as he's like stomped his way forward, full kind of elephant charge nearly. So you just kind of like glance him over and make sure to take a step back. You see the kind of de facto second hand that is Salista, the Asamar, this kind of very angelic looking individual. This kind of lighter dark brown skin, which is a bit more bleached in areas. You can see that she has a kind of like long dark black hair. Not wearing her normal attire, which is this kind of bride's outfit known as the Mournful Widow, but rather just a kind of an average, normal-looking commoner's clothes. You see she's just wearing kind of like drags, just relaxing at the moment, currently legs crossed, sitting on the side of this kind of one of the moving caravans with a side piece that hangs outwards, like a small awning. And she just kind of sits on that, tending to her own means and looking around. Her eyes are kind of like filled with stars, it seems, bright and colourful. As you approach and kind of like sit next to her, she just gestures and just allows you to sit.
Oh, too kind, thank you. My name is Fennel, by the way. Thank you for allowing us to travel along this group with you.
Oh, you're very much welcome for now. I'm Celesta. Pleasure to meet your acquaintance. I would say, the leader of this group, although Dargar would seem to assume that he is the head. All
Well,
the
he-
machismo, but not the charisma.
He certainly appears to be the leader, and he stomps around like he could, like he knows, like he's in charge.
It's all show. He's a gentle giant inside.
Ah,
He
I
lets
see.
the rest of us do the dirty dealings.
Dirty dealings. So you're not just a front.
Well, no, sometimes we have to do things that are necessary. When you're a troop filled with oddities and special skill sets, you do, on occasion, become mercenaries of sorts. Fix problems that people are having.
I suppose you have to be able to look after one another when you're on the road. The twins, I see, have very specialized skills with their hands.
Well, they are a pain in the ass.
Yes, I can see how that would be troublesome from time to time. What about
Yes,
the
they
actual
are-
troop? What do you do in troop? I'm afraid I missed your show last night.
Oh, well, I like to sing and dance. I have abilities that allow me to walk across the skies and dance around. She goes quiet for a moment. In my past life, I was a ballet dancer. I was quite well known. But that's all in the past, and now I'm here. I'm sure you have quite an interesting past as well.
Oh, well, no. I don't think there's really that much to say. However, dancing through the sky sounds very much like swimming through the waters for me, so that sounds very reminiscent.
She takes a moment and kind of looks you up and down. Finette, I'm sure that Dargar's already proposed this to all of you, but in our next performance in Chasvalar, we are open to having guests intervene. If you would like to have a dance with me in the skies, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Well, as lovely as that sounds, I would love to be able to swim and float weightlessly like they did, but I have no such ability on the surface.
She smiles and looks at you for a moment. I don't know. I think you can carry yourself quite well. And she kind of like holds your hand for a moment. Let's have a little demonstration, shall we?
Sure, I'll take her hand. I don't know how she's gonna make me float, but
She stands up, and as she does from this cross-legged position, she stands with a very straight back, a proper ballet structure and form to her movements. She stands up and then begins to stand on her tiptoes, and she holds out her hand to grab yours. And from this small kind of outcrop on the side of the caravan, you see she takes one step into the air, and then another, and she begins to kind of almost walk and ascend upwards. As she holds your hand, you see her hair kind of begins to float off, and so does yours as well. You see that some of your clothes and some of the kind of the personal items on you feel as though they begin to almost move as though you were to be underwater. And as she kind of like holds your hand, you feel this almost natural connection, and you haven't been in the water, at least felt like this, in a long time. So as soon as you kind of like take a step, you feel as though you are dancing underneath the waves. And she just kind of like takes your hand. And I ask you, Frey.
Yep.
Can Fennel dance?
No?
No? Okay. I would like you to roll an acrobatics check then.
Sure.
She will be guiding you through this.
Acrobatics. 12.
Okay. So, on occasion, you find yourself. It's not like being completely underwater. There is a sense of it, but it is still like an odd sensation. So you're kind of like moving your body around, thinking that this is the way to swim through the air, but it's slightly different. And as you are kind of like going around, she begins to grab you into this almost waltz. And as the caravans are still continuing forward, you have areas where the caravans and horses meet each other and there's a gap in between. And she begins to dance with you through the caravans and takes you through one, around the trees, and then through another. On occasion, you stumble and fall and kind of get a twig kind of in the side of your hair. But it's not enough to make you fall out of the moment. And she just kind of continues to move around. Her face is almost completely mute of emotion behind the eyes, but you see physically there is a giant smile across her face as she continues to kind of waltz around and kind of dance through the caravans with you. As you are dancing through, there is a moment where you pass by Thorn and Sienna as the two of them are just kind of like talking for a moment, and then the two of you just kind of like drift past in the air. Sienna looks at you, Thorn. What was that?
I don't want to know, really. It was weird. That's what it was. It was weird.
Fennel will shout back up a little bit down the line, just like, Thorn, this is amazing! You should do this! It almost feels like being underwater. Don't tell Ven.
Fine, thanks.
continuing to dance around, you eventually find yourself stopping and kind of like catching your own feet, and then eventually the hair drops down, and this effect of being underwater is no longer. She smiles and gives you a tap on the shoulder. Well, if you change your mind, there's always more practice involved. And she gives you a small bow and then continues on her way.
Thank you very much. I might take you up on that offer.
You know where I am. And she just walks over towards her caravan. As you begin to look around for who else to talk to, you do come across Thodane. Thodane, you found the two halfling twins. They themselves in kind of rags. You can see as the caravans are moving, they have a rope tied to them, and they are kind of like attached around the waist to the side. And you see them just kind of like scrubbing the side of the caravan with this sponge and a wet rag. You see the two of them just there, just eyes like half asleep as they're spiffing up all of the carts.
All right, fellas, how's it going?
Oh, so all right, doing all right.
Yeah, so bit of a follow up from all that back in town. Don't worry, not the thing in the woods, the you stealing my stuff thing.
You see one of them just goes slightly white. The one looks over. Yeah.
So it turned back up again in your boss's room. He's not happy about that.
What? What do you mean it turned back up?
I mean, somebody dropped the file off in Dagar's room. He's pissed. So, first of all, I have to speak
You
to
see
to find out.
one of them just drops the sponge and reaches up to that in his room.
Yeah. See,
They both look at each other with wide eyes.
that reaction tells me that as stupid as I thought you were, you've got a couple of brain cells knocking around. So, I'm going to ask you once, and if you're anything less than honest, well, I'll have one of my new friends have a word with you. Was it one of you two idiots?
No. Though Dane, it wasn't us, mate. We're turning a new leaf. It wasn't us. I swear.
I'm insight checking that because I really do doubt the turning over a new leaf.
Roll an insight check at advantage.
Alright. 19.
19. You can see that not the fear of God, the fear of Dargar has been put into them, and they do not want to screw over any chances that they've got left, the little that's left, and you see that they are 100% compliant. And you're currently talking to Mork, and he is just kind of like eyes wide open. Look, I'll be honest. We know what it's like. We don't want to go into Dargar's room. We only ever heard stories of people who have gone in, and I do not want to be a part of those stories, okay? It wasn't us, I swear.
I believe you on that one. Now, my next question. It's not fun to do that voice where you got congested, Lewis. Apologies if I drop it, because so my next question is: have either of you seen anybody skulking about? Because I imagine you guys know about the skulking.
Well, you've been like walking around everywhere and asking questions. So the one with the bandana, she's also been like looking around a lot. Who else is it, Qualm? What else? We've got a few other people in the caravan who I've seen, and they're just like you guys. I don't know them well enough. They look around. We picked them up a few towns ago. They're still with us. I don't know, mate.
And I'm just getting that they have no idea where to point me at all with that. So
They look clueless. They've been ashamed. You get the sense that what they're doing now, they've been working throughout the night. They're continuing to working, cleaning every single caravan within this set. They are quite deprived, and they just kind of look defeated as well. You get the sense that they're not going to be of any help.
Well, thank you for answering some questions. Next time you decide to act out, then just pray that I'm not the one hired to look for you, because that's my limit for you two as it is.
So you're like a detective then, right? That's your thing?
I'm not like a detective. I am a detective.
Oh, fuck. Sorry. Okay. Do you do like anything else? Or do you just detect?
What? Why are you asking?
Well, I just want to know in case that... Look, I want to try and make it up to you, though, Dane. Look, we stole stuff from you. We stole your documents, all right? That happened. And I got to make it up to you, both of us. So if I can find you anything, and I mean anything, when we're in Trasvilar, whenever we're dropping you off next, I will do it for you. I've got your back, compadre. I've got you. You made me shit myself. You made me piss myself. Look,
right?
That's
okay,
all under the bridge, all right?
I'm not taking full blame for that. One part of that is you need to see a fucking doctor. Two, Thorn was involved as well. And three,
I don't want to owe that.
Your diet, man, that was foul.
Look, we don't have much food here. I've just corn, okay? That's all I've got. Corn. I love corn.
Right,
what can I say?
We're not having this conversation. We're not doing this. I want to eat today.
Anyway, I'm happy. Look, if you need something from me, Vodane, if you need me to steal anything, look, only for you, I'll do it. All right? I'm not. We're changing and leave.
Okay, keep it an ear to the ground, and if you hear anything about those files, or if you hear the name Andaris Kilmer again, you let me know. Otherwise, kindly stay out of my way.
All right.
Okay.
Understood. Do you want us to clean your room?
No.
All right. I thought I'd ask because I'm not allowed in anymore.
Yeah. That's exactly why I'm not letting you in again, because you've already got a track record of stealing my shit. I don't think you've broken the habit just yet.
You see the other twin looks over. You really hold a grudge, don't you?
Cormstain, we're not going over this again.
All right. At this point, both Ven and Fennel, the two of you have kind of arrived at this moment. You see Thodane there kind of interviewing the two halflings who are kind of like scrubbing along the side of all of these caravans, making up for their misdeeds.
Hello.
Morning.
I hope you're not making them piss their pants again.
Hey, what the hell?
Look, then you were there. That wasn't just me. In fact, you were the only one there who wasn't involved in causing that.
Yeah, that is true. That was quite an experience, let's say. But what seems to be the issue?
My file turned up. I'm just going over the most likely suspects. And
oh, you're looking to reward the person who brought it back. That's great.
No.
Yeah, maybe we can make them something.
The person who gave it back is the person who stole it.
How do you know that?
Because they went through it and they were rushing and they were looking for information.
How do you know that? Maybe they were just a diligent citizen and wanted to bring it back to you.
Okay, then I'm the detective. So, literally my job.
Okay, whatever you say.
What information were they looking for?
Yeah.
They were looking into an individual from Leyrons. At this time, I'm going to be keeping it a bit close to the chest, because, no offense to either of you, we've just met.
Fair enough.
None taken.
Big place, Leyrons.
Yeah, no,
Lots of individuals.
it is somebody that I have looked into before. It's not a total stranger. I'm comfortable saying that much. That's really it. Look, I had a file on them. Someone took the file, and that I don't know why, and I don't know who. I'd like to find out, preferably before getting back home.
Well, why would they bring it back?
Panic. Wrong. They got the wrong file. These two might have stolen the wrong thing. Number of reasons. I don't have enough to go on right now.
Hmm. Well, did the person who hired you tell you that you should get that specific file? Looks to the halflings.
They both nod and then stop their nod and then look towards Slowdown. I don't know.
That kind of sounded like you do know.
Slowdown.
You can answer their questions.
All right.
Just don't name the name.
Okay. Yes.
So it was the right person.
Yeah, we were supposedly getting this one file, so yeah, it was targeted information.
The thing is, because I don't know who hired them, other than that they are paying with fake gold. Have fun with that, by the way.
You see one of them cries.
No. Oh no!
Don't
Didn't get paid.
Okay, right. Please don't be sad that someone didn't get paid for crime.
Yeah, but I feel like they paid back enough with,
No, they're currently
getting.
They're currently paying back to the people they stole from, which is largely the people they live with.
Oh,
Thorn, you can overhear this entire conversation as
Yeah.
the cart is now slowly becoming closer and closer to yours.
She just groans. But she just stays next to Sienna, but she's visibly annoyed.
Look, it's the shit stirrers themselves.
Sienna
Well,
waves.
Maybe they have an idea, you know. Thorn, do you have any clues of who would be interested in a paper with words on them?
What?
Okay, more details than that, mate.
Well, you didn't give me more details. Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. It's about a person in Leirons.
a certain individual in Leirons.
The
Yeah, his
continent.
name is.
Any ideas?
I don't know. Max. Should I do like a history check or something?
Yeah. Roll a history check.
Need to have a very big flask right now.
We're gonna give Fidane a brain aneurysm by the end of the session.
19.
19.
You don't know what the fuck they're talking about. No clue. The little bit of information they're giving you is so fucking vague. You wouldn't know what they're talking about.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
A certain voice actor was right with the size of the flask. That's all I'm fucking saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, Therdane, I think we need something more to go on, you know? It's
Someone stole a file I had that was in relation to a person of importance in Leirons. That file has been returned. Tampered with. I'm trying to find who did it. As far as I know, the only person 110% above suspicion is myself and Finnell, because Finnell showed up after the file was stolen.
I also don't know anyone in Leirons.
But wait, just one thing. You see Mork raise his hand. He doesn't even know what paper is. He just said paper on words. He doesn't know what any of this stuff is.
I know what paper is.
Oh, sorry.
I don't understand why you use it. It's very flimsy, but I know what paper is.
Also, if you would have written the note, would it be wet?
That's why we don't have paper down under the sea.
See, the paper that we had, it wasn't wet.
Yeah, and as I just said, you literal little shit, he's above
Don't
suspicion.
be mean to him.
Oh,
He can be mean. To him.
sorry.
Yeah,
He can be mean to me. I deserve it.
Yeah, no, he really does.
Matt
And
just kind of raises a brow.
I'm actually a bit concerned he's into it now.
I'm not.
Inside check.
I'm doing a masochism check,
fuck?
thank you very much.
Can everyone do an inside check?
11.
Can I do one, DM?
Yeah, you did ask.
Fuck.
Alright.
My ribs hurt.
But do you want to know the answer is the question. Seems like you do.
Roll for masochism.
He's you get the sense that he kind of blushes when he says that.
The man's gonna step one foot away from him.
Smart idea.
This guy has a kick shame, that's for sure.
Oh god.
Oh
Look,
no!
Look, just from a fucking mechanical perspective, being a halfling is probably the best race to be if you're a masochist.
Fucking hell.
Jesus Christ.
You see,
Before we get too deep into that. Anyway.
Mork just says, "Look, Thordain, I'm happy to you and me, buddy. You and me. Fuck Cumstain. It's you and me."
Okay, right, I don't want to be involved in this conversation. You get back to cleaning up and do not talk to me again.
But I really want. I don't want to be doing this anymore. I'll be honest. Just let me go with you.
No. No. No.
What does this come to?
See, he just keeps cleaning. Okay.
Oh my god.
I think you broke the little guy's heart.
I am past caring. I'm past caring.
Cold-hearted today.
It's been a day. It's been a day. I've been up
It
for about an
has.
hour, and it's been a day.
At this point, you hear Dargar just kind of like stomping his way in your direction. Thordain, I have organized a individual analysis of every person in this troop. All of you will be present as well. We're going to go through interviews and see who was in my room.
How many people are there?
Well, there's our troop. That's... let me count it. We have Rory, Excelgor, Gildana, Hunter, Hank. But Hank would never. Let's take Hank away. Sarah, Jacob, Corman, Mork, Celista, and there's myself, but that would be impossible. Then we have all of you, and we have some other people like you in our troop. I'm not going to count the horses.
Fair. Right. I have a spell that might be able to get a few of them out of the running. I just need them all grouped up.
All right, I can bring as many as I can.
Yeah.
I have stopped the wagons.
Okay, right.
The spell is called Fireball.
No, the spell is...
Disintegration.
In the interests of being utterly open and honest here, I can read thoughts.
Oh, you see Dargar just kind of like, I don't know about that.
Cool.
Now,
Maybe
hope-
that's not.
I hope you
The
weren't
thing
reading
now-
my thoughts when I was dancing through the
I'm
skies.
not doing it. I can't do it all the time. The reason I'm bringing that up is that if I'm not purposely listening, I hear what people are thinking then and there. If I ask someone a question, they think of the answer. So if I ask enough people, if I get enough of them in the same place, and just ask where you're in his room, they'll think yes or no, and I can start grouping people out.
So if you ask someone a question like, "What is your favorite color?" and they say pink, do you know if that's true or false?
I hear them think the answer.
Hmm.
But what if if they think in pictures and not words, do you then see the picture?
I have a question.
Let's look
Young
at the
Thordain.
mechanics of the D&D spell.
Thordain, you have just told us your plan. Now, if you were to ask us about our favorite or what we've done, surely we just think of the opposite. If we are trying to be deceitful.
Well, I don't think I need to be asking you if you went into your own room.
No, clearly not. But everyone else here gestures to everyone, especially those two, up towards Mork and Cor.
I already spoke to those two. They weren't the ones to go back into your room. So
We're in the clear.
They're guilty, but they're not guilty of this. Finnell is above suspicion because he wasn't here when the file was initially stolen. And as for Fawn, I believe they're in the clear as well, and I don't think Ven's capable of this. And I mean that from a moral perspective, not a technically skilled perspective.
Thank you.
Very well. I leave this in your capable hands then. I expect to see an outcome and an answer delivered by this evening. Otherwise, we will not be continuing on our trip. And he begins to walk.
Right, well, there's some incentive. I've got to get on that bloody airship.
You see, he begins to kind of like clap his hands. Gather around, everyone! Gather around! And he just begins to get everyone from their caravans. You see people begin to leave and kind of in the main square. He gestures out. We'll be conducting interviews to find out who was in my room. Everyone knows that I do not like it when they're in my room. There are personal belongings there that should not be seen by other people. So, if you wish to save us all the hassle and tell us who did it, speak now. You see, he kind of like looks around.
I'd like to try and get a read just on the crowd before I cast the spell, see if anyone jumps out.
Roll an insight check.
Would this count for the suspicion thing or not?
This is just a general kind of awareness, so no, I wouldn't say. The suspicion would work on individuals rather than a scenery.
8. That is an 8. That is bad.
So 8. As he says that, and you're kind of like looking around, you can see every single one of the members of the circus, as well as 3 other people who have kind of joined alongside, the same as you guys have. They've been in this kind of caravan set before you, Thordain. They were here quite a while ago, but they're individuals. They're not like a group. They haven't kind of like met each other or traveled together. You see one who seems to be like an elderly gentleman, human, with a slightly kind of tan skin, but probably in his like 80s or so, but he hides it quite well. And you see 2 other people who are currently there. One of them is a tabaxi, kind of this leopard print sort of skin to them, feminine looking with kind of like this very long and slender staff by their hand, who they're just kind of like leaning against and just kind of like looking at the crowd very curiously. And then there is a 3rd individual who seems to be a dwarf as well as you. One who has kind of like a greyish skin, though. They aren't one of the overworld, they are rather of the Underdark. You see a Dwergar. Kind of like rockish skin, greyish in tone. You can see kind of like white-ish eyes, and just kind of like in loose leathers, watching this with their hands in their pockets, just kind of minding their own business and not really giving much attention to it. But as that kind of is said, you see no one steps forward. Very well, we'll be conducting interviews individually, but first I will gather everyone around in a circle. Come closer, come closer, come closer. And he begins to kind of like gesture to everyone. How close do they need to be, Thordain?
That was a quick question. One second, just trying to get the radius of this. 30 feet, within 30 feet of me.
All right, hold tight, everyone, hold tight. You see as everyone begins to like really push themselves closer together awkwardly. You see the kind of rock punk individual just stood there with their arms crossed, just looking over. and steps in as well, stands beside you, Thorn, and just kind of looks down towards you, as she is much taller than you.
I think
Just gives you a nod.
I think like Thorn being corralled like this, she's genuinely like getting like unsteady and sort of like
Mhm.
slowly growling at everybody. Not like I'm about to attack you, but more of like a please get away from me without the please.
You see, she looks down at you and like notices this, and she just says, "Look, I don't like it either, but just take it on for a moment.
I think
Don't you dare fucking touch me either."
Hearing that and by this cool person, she's like, fine. And she's sort of like, she gets a like not calm, but she like relaxes a bit.
You see the large half ogre Hank. He kind of like presses up against her by accident as he's like, "Oh, I don't know if I can fit in this circle," and he just kind of like bumps her with his belly, and she just looks up towards him. She flicks her finger forward. You see kind of pointed like, basically Hank is behind her, she's pointing forward, and you see this thin line of energy, this kind of like dark yellowish colored lights, just like a magic bolt, shoot forward and then ricochet off of a post in the middle, and then boom, and just hits him in the side of the head. You see, oh! Hank just kind of like grabs his head. "Oh, I'm sorry, Gildana. I didn't mean to."
Oh no.
"Don't fucking do it again, Hank." Oh. So
Oh,
all
no.
grouped up now.
Is
So then-
Fennel
Thanks,
in the group? Is he being corralled into it?
You see Dargar is currently just kind of like gesturing with his hands at everyone. He's just like, "Get closer, closer, around Thodane, around Thodane. We need to know who did it." As he's kind of getting more and more boisterous and a bit more angered. "No!" Gesturing over towards Hank and everything. There's a bit of like chaos. No one really knows what the fuck's going on.
Okay.
Fennel, it's up to your interpretation if you want to get in.
Why do I feel like Ven also got swept?
The
Sure.
crowd just has Thorn, Ven, Fennel.
The non-musical bard has organised a mosh pit.
Sure, Fennel will
It's
let
gonna be
himself
a
get carried in, but it's only because he wants to ask whoever's closest. You know,
What's the experience?
Yeah, wants to be part of the experience, and he wants like whoever's closest, like, "Oh, what do you think is in this room? What do you think he's so embarrassed about? Like he's really worked up. Like, what do you think it is?" I'm not
You,
starting rumors. I want to know.
roll
think it's
a
bad?
persuasion check for me, Fennel.
Persuasion.
Oh no, he's going to contaminate it. He's going to ask so many
Oh,
questions.
7.
You begin to kind of like ask around the question. You kind of like look down and you can see there's this individual referred to as Rory, but you haven't seen them before. They are about the same size, if not slightly shorter than Thodane. And you can see they don't really wear many clothes except for like a kind of loose like strip of leather around their torso and mid-center. But you can see they have like scales around their body. Their arms are like small nubs by their side, and their head and the entire body of them essentially is like an armadillo. They are like a humanoid version of an armadillo. You can see the plated scales around them. You can see the black beady eyes, like kind of pointed nose, a soft belly interior, which is all covered up by this leather cloth. And you see he kind of like looks up to you as you're kind of like beginning to speak up. "Excuse me, sir, you're not allowed to don't try to change everyone's point of view. If you are trying to investigate what is in his room, then go in there yourself."
Oh, but I'm not allowed in the room.
Exactly. I don't think anyone will be telling you that they've been in his room. I would never go into his room.
What? Doesn't mean you don't know what's inside?
Well, I've heard plenty of rumors.
Like what?
Oh, well, he's a very deviant man. You see he kind of like rubs his hands I don't know what's actually inside, but on occasion he has to do some dealings with business people, and they don't look too pleased when they see when they walk out.
Oh, so it scares off business.
That is why not many people go in. If they go in, they are typically either being fired or are being put down.
Put down?
Not killed.
Oh.
God. Just fucking killing
Jesus.
people.
Fennel, as you're continuing to like ask and inquire, you just feel the shadow behind you of Dargar just standing there. Are you trying to find information, or are you trying to understand what my groom is?
I am trying to find information.
roll a reception check.
Didn't even need to ask if we were lying. He knows.
Did you say deception?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It's not persuasion.
20.
Nice.
He kind of looks down towards you. Good job, my boy. And he just kind of like continues to usher everyone in. Eventually, everyone gathers around in a tight circle, pressed up against each other. Thodane, you have the floor.
Okay, so I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts, and as I'm saying that, I'm just going to ask, right, has anyone here been in Dargar's room? And I should get thoughts of yes or no on the surface.
Okay.
The hard part is separating those out.
Yes.
Just
I'd
look
like
up
you
back
to
in the
roll a insight check for me.
Yeah.
So it's just a regular insight check. And I'd also like you to roll your spellcasting ability, which would be your charisma.
Okay, yeah. Just flat, or
Yeah, just a flat charisma check.
I just roll D20. I get +4. Oh, they're terrible.
Oh, no.
You begin to kind of like focus for a moment. You've opened your mind to a lot of people in the past, but to do it on this amount of people and to try and look for a specific answer, it's like going through like a maze. You're hearing the responses of people, but you're also hearing, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Why the fuck am I here? Like, it's overbearing as there's just this kind of like cacophony of distortion in your mind. So you aren't able to filter through it with this question.
I have one question. Not counting myself and Dargar, how many people are in a circle around me?
So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, plus the party members, which are 4, so that's 14. And then you have an additional 3, which I believe is 17. I might be missing 1 or 2 people, but it's about 17 people.
Okay, I'm going to do groups of 4
Okay.
at a time. So just going to go around the circle
Mhm.
and do it that way. So you go, right, that didn't go quite well. You 4, point at 4 just directly in front of me.
Yeah.
And I'll be going clockwise around. So you 4, any of you go into Dargar's room?
No. You hear all 4 just say no.
Next one, next 4, and repeating the question.
You continue. Roll an investigation check for me. So this would be just you trying to basically uncover the plot.
24, there we go, that's better.
24. You go through individual sections in this pie, and one by one you hear no. And then you go to one group which has Dargar in it. He's just fallen in it. You hear yes from him, but you also hear another voice say yes at the same time. So basically, in this group of 4 that you've selected, there is Dargar, there is Celista, there is Jacob, and you also have one of the 3 other members of this of the kind of group that have entered this traveling circus.
Okay. I'm then going to ask, do any of you know an Anderis Kilmer?
You hear one say yes.
I want to narrow down the thoughts. I want them to actually, they need to make a wisdom saving throw, as I'm not
Okay.
trying to read their mind.
So it's a wisdom save on their part, yeah?
Yes, the DC is 14.
Natural 15. So with their modifiers, you can't penetrate, but you know it's between these four individuals. One of them is Dargo.
So I can't do a general push. It would have been on the person who fought
Okay.
yes to Andaris Kilmer.
Okay, so
they
as you
know
try
I just tried.
Okay, so as you kind of focus and you kind of feel that moment bounce back, you can see the individual who kind of like notices this and kind of like pushes back. You see respond is Jacob. Jacob is one of the two pairings that create this one form of ice and fire. Jacob and Sarah are the duo that create this individual known as Gemini.
Okay. All right, Jacob. Care to explain?
You see, he kind of like looks about for a moment. But Dargon knows I've been in his room before.
Yeah, I meant the follow-up question there, mate.
Well, I know the person because I'm from Leiron, so I know of their dealings. I used to be in the reserve.
I'm insight checking this for if this is the whole truth.
Sure, yeah. So if you're suspicious, you can roll an advantage.
Yeah, I keep on right-clicking it. And dirty 20.
You see that they seem truthful enough. Jacob is human with light skin and kind of like dirty blonde hair. You can see kind of well kept enough. He's got quite defined body, looks after himself. He's gymnastic, so he kind of like has a lean look to himself. In responding to your questions, you can see that all of the presence and the people that kind of like stare towards him, you can see he gets a little bit flustered, a bit kind of like red around the cheeks. You can see Sarah, who is his partner. She kind of like stands at the wayside and just kind of like looks over with curiosity, but has no kind of like other sentiments, just curious at what's happening. But what you can gather from Jacob, his body language is nervous, but he answers truthfully. As you're kind of like inquiring, you see he kind of looks over. I've been in the reserve. Dargo knows this, and I've been in his room as well. You see Dargo looks over. This is true. I know all of this. Jacob, he is a valuable member of this team, and I don't believe that he is capable of any malicious intent.
Okay.
Question.
Yes.
Just quickly. Did we hear him say the name of the person when he was asking people?
Oh yeah, said that out loud.
Yeah, he said it out loud.
Okay. Thank you.
You see Jacob just kind of like looking nervously. I've not heard that name in a long, long time. This is about 25 years ago or something. I studied in Leiron, so he was one of the classmates that I studied with, so I knew him. I knew of him. I don't know what he is now. Member of the reserve, most likely he was top of the class, so I wouldn't see why not.
And that is now everybody. The spell is definitely worn off by this point. This is where me being shit at being a detective is going to bite me in the ass. Right, thank you for answering my questions. And I'm just going to go to Dagar. Everybody's clean here.
All right. So, no one in this troop is culpable. No one's done anything.
At this point, they're either... If anyone here is, they are not unskilled in magics.
Okay. Well, I am a very open-minded individual. I do not wish ill intent for anyone. But I say this to all of you. If I find out that I have been laying my tracks with malicious evildoers trying to get into my wares, there is no turning back. You will leave this circus, and the freedom that you once had will be no longer. I will be disappointed. But it sounds like you're all in the clear for now. If you do see anything, hear anything, you contact me or Thodane. But apart from that, we shall continue our journey to Trasvalar. Don't let this be a dampener on things to come. We have a performance in Trasvalar, one in a long time, so I look to improving ourselves. Trust is everything. And my trust has been wavered recently. So we'll try to build this back up. We have days to prepare, and prepare we shall. Team building exercises. And we have new guests, so make them feel welcome. Integrate them if they wish. And hopefully, we shall have a good time in Trasvalar. And wherever he gestures over to the rest of you, and wherever you go next. Don't forget, Trasvalar, we have many, many eyes on us. And we have very powerful figures. Trasvalar brings high priests, clerics, and even notable figures throughout history. So, let's give them a show to remember. Onward. And you see he just kind of gestures forward and ushers to everyone to go back onto their carts, and you see he begins to lead all of the horses to continue on the journey forward.
Would I know anything about this individual?
You can roll a history check if you want to.
Can I do the same thing?
Sure.
Because I was waiting to ask.
11.
19.
Thorn, in the circles that you've been in, you have no recollection of this name. Doesn't seem to kind of like ring any bells in your head. Anderos or Kilmer, last name, first name, nothing rings anything in your head. For Ven as well, there are elements of remembering things from Leyrons that kind of like pique your curiosity, and there may be something there, but for this time, nothing really kind of like jumps out at you.
Okay. Good to know.
At this point, everyone begins to kind of go back to their carts. You guys are left to yourselves once again, and you see the traveling troupe continues on their journey. There's only a few hours left of sunlight, so after those few hours, the troupe will stop, rest for the evening, and then continue the journey in the morning. But if there's anything else you guys wish to do during this time, say so.
Could I speak to Celeste?
Sure, yeah. After the meeting, you can see she just kind of like walks over towards Darga for a moment, gives a hand on his shoulder, and just kind of begins to speak slightly. You see he nods and eventually walks off. And you come up from behind, and you see she just kind of like turns around on the spot and looks towards you with a smile. Hello.
Hey. Oh. I wanted to say that I loved your performance.
Oh. And she kind of like holds us up. It's very kind of you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
It was very emotional.
Well, it comes from a very emotional place.
Well, if you ever are willing to share, I'm here to listen, but are you doing alright with everyone? I can sense it's maybe a little bit tense.
Well, a little bit of deceit is always, it comes hand in hand when you're traveling with a bunch of people who live on the fringe of society. But we all find our way and find common ground. We have to adapt. So if people don't adapt, they can't make it in the real world.
That is true. But, You guys seem like you're very close.
Well, I've known all of them for a good part of 30 years. Some have come and gone, some friends lost along the way, some new ones gathered. Just like yourselves.
That is true. Well, you say you've been with the circus for 30 years?
I have, yes.
Why did you decide to join?
I was lost. To put it briefly, I was not in the right place. I'm not all I seem to be. The mournful widow part of me is a persona, but it has a story to it. I was in love once, and they were the best thing a part of me. They were everything. But life is full of tragedy. And we have to find out how we wish to forge that tragedy into something new. And hopefully we don't fall down the dark path.
Well, I'm still sorry that happened.
30
Couldn't
years.
have been easy.
30 years of grief and singing definitely help.
Yeah, I guess it does. It's one way of, I guess, letting out your emotions, but also, I guess, keeping your love for them.
Whenever I sing and dance, it always reminds me of them and who they were. I hate to admit it, but as 30 years have gone by, I forget what they look like. Their face, who they were, become only but a memory that I cannot remember. The music, and when I take on that persona, bring back something at least. I always remember dancing with them. Dancing to anything and everything. You see, she kind of like looks out onto the rest of the trees, and she has a moment to herself where you can see like her eyes well up. And as they do, you can see they're not kind of like regular tears. They almost hold a silvery glimmer in them. And she just kind of like looks out. But I see you're also magically attuned, but also musically.
Only a little bit, but yes, I am. I did want to ask you where your own powers come from.
Well, I don't really know myself. Rebirth is a funny thing.
Rebirth?
I don't want to get too into the thick of it all, but this isn't my first life. The one which I had with them was one that was not what I am now, if that makes sense.
I understand what you mean. So you just kind of had them, the powers?
Just seemed to happen, yes. And I found ways to make them my own. I don't want to be branding people with divine light or casting shadows away. I have no care for that. I have these powers, but I use them in ways that transcend what adventurers or mercenaries or fighters or what the most proficient spellcasters always want, which is power. No, I look to the stars and I see beauty, and I want to replicate that. I want to show the rest of the world that not everything is black and white.
So it's kind of like art for you.
It is, yes. Isn't everything art?
Well, I don't know about everything, but that sure is a form of it. Well, I wanted to ask, if you could maybe teach me
What would you
some
like
of
to
your
learn?
performance.
Any part of it specifically?
Well, I don't know if I can do the whole dancing on the stars part, but
Oh, please, everyone can. All it takes is a little bit of a try. And she kind of like holds her hand out towards you. I danced with Finel earlier. I can dance with you if you want to give it a try.
sure. Puts his hand in hers.
Takes your hand, and you feel yourself lift up for a moment as the two of you just kind of like waltz back and forth a little bit. It's nothing difficult. You just need the right partner. If you don't know the steps, the other half will guide you. And she just kind of like helps lean you in. A small little back and forth, nothing too glamorous or difficult. They can sense your kind of nerves going into it. As she kind of has you there for a moment. Sometimes we just have to fall into it. Let the way of the world guide us forward. And then she just lets you down.
Huh. I never really thought of it that way. I never really had anyone teach me magic that was also a sorcerer. It was mostly just textbooks and stuff, and they mostly treat magic as something kind of like math. And I'm not very good at that, so.
You have a moment to yourselves, and she just kind of like smiles to you. Is that who the Shadow Demon is? She smiles. Did they teach you?
Huh? What do you mean?
The shadow that follows you everywhere.
So you can see them?
Oh, I can see them, yes. Don't worry, I'm not afraid. You seem capable and you know what you're doing.
No, they're not teachers. Kind of similar to you. They just kind of appeared one day. A wizard taught me for a small amount of time.
She nods, and she just kind of like places a hand on your shoulder. Well, I'm happy to teach you. And I'll teach you everything I can at least teach. I don't know if this is all given to me, so I don't really know to teach it specifically, but I would try. It's all feelings at the end of the day. Once you grasp your own emotion, you'll be able to transcend it.
And thinks about that for a second before looking back at her. Don't tell anyone else about them, please.
Smiles, and that tear that was building up, you see it just now drop by the side of her face. And she places her hand on your chin. I won't tell anyone. All of us have our dark moments. I share some vulnerability with you. We all need each other to survive. There's no point in bottling it all up. You can keep your secrets. I won't tell anyone.
I just don't want anyone to get the wrong impression, They're mostly harmless.
Of course.
I think.
And what's wrong with a little bit of harm?
Well, I think Todane would get a little bit upset.
Thodane is an interesting one. I'm sure that he'll be fine with it.
Well, we'll see. Plus, I don't think anyone else can see them.
No. I'm unique in this set, at least. I can see through what most people can. So I won't tell anyone. But do bear that in mind. There may be others like me who can see that, and they might grow suspicious.
I will. Thank you.
All right. Well, join me later and I'll teach you some things I know.
He nods and kind of scurries off back to his own carriage, kind of
Hmm.
off-put a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess, or a little bit panicked.
You get the sense that, again, as she was kind of talking to you, there was emotion across her face, but behind her eyes, you could see there was almost like a starry eye sort of complex. She was physically there, mentally there, but mentally you could sense that she was just kind of like plain. There was nothing really behind in her mind, like no thoughts were coming up at least. She said everything that seemed to be on her mind.
Yeah. Mostly the fact that somebody else could see those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think he's necessarily worried about her, more the fact that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Who does anyone else have anything to do during these hours?
Thorn is just eavesdropping and looking at horses. That's all she's doing.
Okay. Roll a perception check as you're eavesdropping.
Okay. Not on anything like particular. She's just listening for gossip or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You can
perception.
hear
Steven's
Fennel
like,
asking more
gossip.
people, oh, what do you think is in his room?
Everybody can hear that. 23.
23. You're listening, you're paying attention to the surroundings, and you can see the small kind of armadillo humanoid figure, Rory, is currently kind of like in a ball form, running around. You see them just kind of like rolling onto the ground, going a bit faster than the rest of the trucks, the caravan, and leads and pops out to meet one of Sarah and Jacob. You see Sarah, the other half of them, just kind of like talking to him. You see the two of them kind of having a bit of a jaunty laugh at each other. You see he hands her something, and she just kind of like smiles and gives him a little rub on the side of the cheek, and he just kind of like gives a nod and jumps back into a ball and then rolls over to the next spot. You see Sarah, as she's kind of like looking at the small parcel that's arrived, she just kind of opens it up. You see her face kind of light up a little bit, and she heads back into her room.
Could
As
I see
well,
what's
yeah,
in the
sure.
house?
If you want to enhance on your vision, you will need to get a little bit closer.
Okay. Sorry, some asshole was mowing their lawn right outside my door. If anybody
Don't
can
worry,
hear
we
that.
can't hear it. You're fine.
Okay, great, awesome, perfect.
He might
Can
be a viewer,
I-
Cassie. You can't call him an arsehole.
So I thought I was the one you called arsehole. God damn it.
Nobody's special. Can I stealth?
Yeah, sure. Roll a stealth check.
Hell yeah. Natural 1. Never mind.
19.
19.
You find yourself the thicket of the trees are quite kind of like grouped up at this point. You can see the canopy is like heavily obscured by the leaves that are now encroaching. So you have moments of shadow where you can kind of like slip in, and you find yourself going on the opposite side of the door she came in. You're on the other side of the caravan, and there's kind of like windows. There's a bit open, and you can hear a bit of the conversation going on the inside. You hear conversation between Sarah and Jacob. Jacob seems to be inside, and two of them are just talking. Bit of the conversation you kind of hear is Sarah just kind of like talking to Jacob and saying, I've just received this package. I don't really know what it is, but it seems a little bit ominous. I don't know. You hear like the scruffling of the paper being opened. Do you want to try and jump up and see into this window as well?
seems a bit risky. I'll just listen and hear reactions.
Okay.
And if it seems like, you know, something to freak out over, then she's gonna try and peek.
Okay. You hear the rustling of the package being like opened and moved around, and then you hear Jacob just say, "What the fuck?" You just hear Sarah go, "Oh my god!"
She's gonna look.
Okay,
Yeah.
roll an acrobatics check or athletics as you
Acrobatics.
kind of like climb up and stare.
Alright. Okay. Yep.
God damn it.
Yep.
You jump up, your fingers grab onto the side of the window, but you grab onto the part which kind of like descends downwards and opens like a shutter, and you grab onto it and you kind of like slam down a little bit. You hear the two of them kind of move over and look in your direction.
I will
but
try and duck down.
You
I
let go,
let
you drop
go,
down.
put my hands in my
Um,
pockets like, do. Who did that?
Yeah.
What was that? What was going on? Put her hood up.
You begin to kind of like skulk away with the same stealth check. Actually, roll another stealth check because you did just do an action. So if you roll again.
I still want to, if I can, I still want to try and like either go around to the other side just so I can keep like. Just, I want to know what's going on.
Okay,
I want to
sure.
know what's going on in there.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Oh, whoops. Wrong button. Okay.
16.
16.
Okay, he's going to roll a perception check.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you stalk away. You don't see if anyone's like noticed you because you just kind of like quickly put your hood up and turn the corner. You begin to kind of like listen back in again, and you just hear Sarah say, how? It's been like 22 years. How did he find us? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And you hear like scrumpling. We can't let this. Just don't think about it, Sarah. Okay? Don't worry about it. But it says that we're going to meet soon. I don't like that. I don't want to. I don't want him to be in our lives anymore. Do you not remember what it was like? We can't say anything, Sarah. You know this. If we say anything, he might hear us. But what if? But Dargo can help us. He said he would if it ever came up again. No, we can't. Clearly, there's mistrust in this troop, and we can't tell anyone. Okay? Keep it to ourselves like we always do. And if something happens, then fuck it. We'll just do it. And if we need to leave, we need to leave. We've been with this place for 21 years or whatever it's been now. If we need to go, we need to go. I only care about you, Sarah, so if we're in danger, we need to get out of here. You just hear Sarah respond. I trust everyone here. We should tell them. But you're right. The more people know, the more in danger they are. So just keep it to ourselves. But I don't want to leave. We'll just have to wait it out, I guess. Yeah, we'll wait it out. We'll see if anything happens, and at least we know it's coming. But he's a fucking asshole. He's probably messing with us. He always has been. At this point, Thorn, you see someone kind of like walk up behind you. Arms crossed, tall figure. You turn around.
Pull out a dagger just in case.
Mm-hmm. As you pull out a dagger, do you like turn with the dagger out?
Yes.
Okay, you pull the dagger out. You feel pressed against your neck a finger holds itself there, and you see the tall 6-foot punk rocker placing their finger below your neck. So what is it you're doing here then? Skulking, looking, listening. Crying. Are you sure you're not the one that's causing all of the distress in this place?
You don't want to find out.
What are you gonna do? Fucking cut me? There's a little tiny blade in your hand. I've got a fucking arcane missile pointed right at your neck. I let go. Your fucking head comes off. You make the decision. Do you like your head?
She, like, growls a bit, and then she takes a deep breath, and she holds up her hand with the dagger to be like, I'm putting it away. And she puts it away, and she holds her hands up like, I honestly don't want trouble.
And I don't want to clean up the mess. And she puts her hand down. What the fuck are you doing listening to their fucking caravan?
I don't know. I don't know.
Why don't you know? What, is something lost in you?
Yeah.
Alright, well fucking find it. Don't let your problems be everyone else's. She just walks off. If I catch you walking around again, I fucking won't hesitate.
I think after she walks away, Thorn just like spits at the ground as she leaves, and then she's gonna go find Thordane.
Mm-hmm. You spit on the ground. You see the halfling twins just kind of like wiping the side you hit. They look at you. They just keep cleaning.
Yeah, I like go like, what? Like
Don't say nothing.
that's what I fucking thought.
What'd you say?
Exactly. And then I just keep walking to Thordane.
Okay. So what is Thordane up to at the moment?
Yeah, he's just having a nice, relaxed evening. A cup of tea. Just going. Thank God I can rest.
Are you sharing a cup of tea with anyone or just by yourself?
No, he's just by himself. It's
Not with Hank.
no, Hank and me are just acquaintances. We get on, but we're not that close. We're not tea friends.
So as you're resting in your cabin, Thorn, I guess you approach.
Yeah.
Do you knock on the door or do you just...
I just open it. Hey.
How paranoid am I? You see him go for his holsters. Just you. Knock. Just knock. In general.
But, alright, fine. We need to talk about something, and I'll close the door.
Alright. Yeah, how are you? I'm good. Thanks for asking. Fairy motherfucker.
Jacob and Sarah. There's something going on. I don't know if it's related to your thing or something like that, but something's wrong.
Right? Okay.
Right.
Details? Anything? Or how'd you find this? Were you doing anything you probably shouldn't have been doing, and therefore I can't really work on this?
I mean, anyways, I just saw Sarah receive a package from this weird guy. He was like I don't know, it's like he had a shell, but it wasn't a shell. She's trying to describe the armadillo guy, but she doesn't know what an armadillo is.
From the vague description, you recognize it's Rory, one of the members of the circus.
he gave Sarah a package. She went inside her cabin thing and heard them open it. They sounded scared. And that somebody might have found them.
Okay. Not a whole lot to go off of, and the thing is, I'm a private investigator. I can't just go, "Hi, I heard you had a problem," because tends to raise more issues than it solves. Like,
I
did you
didn't know
hear?
who else to go to.
I know. I'm just asking. Was there anything at all, like a name, a place that I can use to bring it up? Otherwise, like, yeah, it might be to do with the file that went missing, because it didn't sound like they were being threatened, like they got a letter from someone they don't like. What was the deal?
I don't. It from the way they talked, it sounded like it was a threat. They didn't read the note. I couldn't see what was on the note or what they got, but it seemed like someone was after them and they were threatening them, and they were scared. They were thinking about leaving and running away.
Okay, threats. I can work with threats. Did anyone else see you? Does anyone else know this is happening?
She describes the punk rock person. I don't know her name, but
Thordain, you would know her to be Gildana.
Yeah, that's Gildana. Yeah, she's like that. Yeah. That being said, if you were skulking outside of someone's window and then making loud noises, I can kind of see why she'd react like that. Your passenger didn't make an appearance, right?
Sienna? No.
I wouldn't call her your passenger now, would I? Did you go pink?
No.
Okay, that's one less headache.
I told you,
Okay.
I have it under control.
I know, but you just said you were threatened, so I don't know what under control means. Right. If they're being...
means I'm under control.
Okay. So, if they've got a letter and they're thinking of running, you said you saw who gave her the letter. I'll speak to them and go from there and see if there's anything I can do. I can't just insert myself into that situation.
Do you think I can?
Not after you got seen, no. I'll try and find out what I can and let them know that I'm here to help. But until I know more, we can't just go in, lives out, guns a-blazing. Okay. Thank you for coming to me with this. Do you want anything? I've got some tea, I think. It'll be a small mug. Okay. Oh,
she's left.
Try to be fucking polite, I guess.
Okay. Two of you end your conversation as you begin to make plans and to think of what to do next. Does Fineld get up to anything?
Nothing in particular. After everyone kind of disperses and feeling the vibe, might just kind of keep to himself, start writing in his journal on what he's seen and what he's experienced.
Asking people if they know what's in.
That will be the big thing in today's entry. Nobody knows what's in his room. Biggest mystery in Calceria.
Is there even a room? Doesn't it exist?
Good point.
As you're kind of like keeping to yourself and writing to your journal, you see Hunter walk up to you, Do you also write notes? Keep tabs?
Yes, I'm an emissary, so I'm here to.
Oh yeah, that's right. You said.
So I make notes and bundle them off back to Jahi.
Pretty good. I also do the same. My memory is a bit shit, so try to make sure I remember everything. Write it down in this book.
Smart.
So,
Smart. Not all of us
I
are.
appreciate someone with good penmanship.
I'd love to take a look at your penmanship if that's something you're quite keen on.
Sure thing. You see, he kind of like walks over with a bit of like a giddiness into him, pulls out his book, he opens it up. You can see this very nice and neat calligraphy as he's kind of like written notes and notes and notes over the years. But you see that some of it is quite kind of like, just roll an investigation check.
Go on then.
Roll for penmanship.
15.
15. You can see the entries are by day, and this entire book is like a diary. Every page is filled with a single day. You see it, even the most basic stuff is written in there. You went to see X, you went to do this, you went to do that. It's always written in the third person, as
Right.
though he's like retelling it as if that person has done something. It's all very kind of like plain standard. Then eventually it will say, Gildana looked at you weirdly. Make sure that you do not say anything bad to her. And then you just see it's kind of like one by one. Each one of these sentences is it paints a very strange picture. But the penmanship is beautiful. It's perfect. Cursive writing, slightly illegible at some points because of how neat and proper it is. It just all kind of blends together in one motion. But you can see that they enter every single day as it is. And today is no different. You can see it says, you woke up today in the circus. And you see a lot of those entries start that way.
Okay. I'll commend him on his calligraphy and say that looks amazing. It looks
Thanks.
looks lovely. It looks much better than mine. And I'll just show him what I've been writing today, and it looks like chicken scratch.
You see, he kind of like laughs at that. Hey, look, I love chicken.
It is a peculiar animal.
Do you have chickens where you're from?
No.
Oh yeah, you said you're from on the Warren. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No
He just
feathered
laughed
creatures
himself.
down there. We are familiar
than
with
that?
birds. No, we're familiar with birds if we come close to the surface, but that's seagulls, not so many chickens flying above the ocean.
What about those ones that dive downwards into the water? What do they? They like go down trying to get fish. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So
I believe a lot
I
of
get it,
birds
I
do
get
that.
I don't know. I've just seen one.
Is he talking about ducks?
Anyway, so good penmanship. Chicken scratch, whatever it is, you've got it sorted.
Well, it's somewhat
But
legible.
I'll leave it to yourself.
Thank you.
You see, he just kind of like stands up awkwardly. He kind of looks at you for a second. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I know you from somewhere, but memory. Hell of a thing.
Can't say. Well, actually, do I recognize him?
You can roll a history check, I guess.
Long lost brothers.
21.
21. As you look at him, there's something there. There's something there that kind of like rings a bell. If the draconic and tiefling parts were taken away. But without that image, it's hard to say. But something kind of like, you're looking at him, and like the bone structure, the way his face is underneath the surface of skin, scales, and infernal features, you see something there that looks reminiscent.
Sorry, you're not ringing up any bells either.
Hey, look, maybe I just have one of those faces. He just laughs himself. You get it, because no one does.
True. I think I would recognize you.
Yeah. All right, well, have a good one. And he heads off. So, as the evening begins to settle in, all of the carts have finished moving. They've all stationary. You can see small bits of fires begin to, like campfires begin to set up in different areas. You can see parts of the group, different members of the circus, the people traveling with you, all begin to group up in different areas. You can see a feast is beginning to get made by Rory, the small armadillo man. You can see he's just kind of like carving out large pieces of meat and kind of handing them out to people, but as well gathering some kind of like fruits and vegetables for the people who don't eat any of the meat. One by one, you're all kind of like given your own food. And yeah, if there's anything you guys want to do during this time, everyone is present, everyone is available. So you guys tell me.
I'm gonna keep tabs on Jacob and Sarah,
Mm-hmm.
see what their moods are like. Since I got caught by Gildana, I'm gonna try not to make it obvious, but just so I don't get caught again. And but yeah, I'm just keeping tabs on them, making sure what their mood is. Yeah.
Okay. Just from a general glance, you can see that the two of them are sat together on this large log, talking with both Hunter as well as Hank. You see the two of them are just kind of like glancing around, talking to them, smiles on their faces. You can roll an insight check to get any deeper meaning if you want.
And I'll also like watch the woods and stuff, see if there's anybody that shouldn't be out there.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
23. You can see they've got smiles on their faces. They've got essentially a mask on. But deep inside, you can see behind their eyes, they do look at each other every so often. And the conversation isn't flowy. There seems to be something on their mind. The others can notice it as well. You see Hank just like on occasion just look over and tap Sarah on the back and just kind of give her a nudge and a smile. But she doesn't really respond in the way that he's used to, so he just kind of gives a slight eye. There is definitely like a tension that is there, and you can see their mind is elsewhere. In terms of a 23, though, as well, you can see that this, whatever is on their mind, is still there, but you also see them glancing every so often to the caravan. You get the sense that perhaps the note or whatever they received is still in the caravan.
Ooh, I could do something. I could go in there, but kind of scared of Gildana. I'm not. I'm not gonna go in there, even though I really, really want to. But I think I'm gonna walk over to them, but in the guise that I'm gonna be walking past them, like in front of them, and then I'm gonna purposefully I'll try to like fake it, but like spill my food in front of them and try to like pick it up and just be like, sorry, it's just you don't want to get this everywhere because worms are always watching, you know. And I'll try and look up at them to see if they understand.
Okay, I'd like you to roll a performance or persuasion check. Or intimidation, because this is intimidation as well. So either one.
Performance, intimidation, or persuasion?
Persuasion, yeah.
Okay. God damn it! Always when it's crucial. Always! Fuck!
You purposefully stumble.
Mhm.
Your food, the food that you're carrying, just goes straight onto the fire. And as it does, a billow of smoke begins to shoot upwards. You can see Jacob and Sarah pull their way back. And as you begin to kind of like give off this monologue, as you kind of like planned in your head a few times, you you kind of say it out loud, but you look up and say it to Hank's belly, who's like,
No.
don't worry, we can get you more food. He's kind of like there trying to help you up. It's okay.
Yeah,
Um,
fine. Sorry. And then I'll try to quickly walk back and make my way towards Sienna again.
Okay. You just see Sienna look over. Did everything work out, my love?
I don't want to talk about it.
And we don't have to. You see, she just like continues eating her food. What does everyone else do during this?
Not that.
Just observing, I guess, seeing what everyone else is up to.
hmm
Maybe Ben being a little bit more wary of his surroundings this time.
Yeah. You can see as you kind of like have your food, and the shadows of the forest are quite thick, and you can see watching from the sidelines the kind of dark, misty, dark and white eyes of this shadow entity looking towards you, and you can just see them where they're looking at is directly at Solista. You can see he's kind of like leaning against a tree, scowl across their face. The eyes are slightly narrowed as they're looking over, keeping their distance but also staring.
It's just kind of giving them, cut it out, dude. She can already see you. Kind of look of like, go, we'll talk later. Go.
You see he's kind of like this entity's just stood there, looks at you, sees you kind of like give the wave, narrows their eyes against you, and then gestures over to that person.
To Celeste.
Yeah.
Ben just kind of gives like a no, we're not talking about this now. Ben just kind of does this. And in his head is going to just say, we'll talk about this later. Just let me eat my food.
How the hell can she see me? I need to know.
I don't know.
To know.
You do just need to be on the down low for now.
But it's... You see as they're kind of there leaning against a tree, angered, you see almost the form warp slightly and then change into this more feminine, slender figure. But curiosity is always so inviting.
Curiosity that killed the cat. No.
No. Whoever said that?
I don't know. Why are you asking me?
Probably a mouse that said that. They hate cats.
Look, when we're in private, okay?
I might ask her.
Don't
Why?
do anything rash, please.
All right, I won't do anything rash. For
We'll
you.
talk about this later. There's too many people around, and I'm probably gonna start looking like a lunatic in a couple of seconds. So later.
Yeah, Thorn's staring at you.
You see,
He's not talking out loud.
No, I know, but she's still staring at
He's probably just making faces, as he's just having a argument in
Like-
his own head.
Ben's got a fork full of food, just like
you.
the food's dropped off at this point.
He just looks like he's looking at a certain direction without really saying anything.
Like looking at the imaginary camera, and she's trying to like find it. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is she looking
Are we being punked? Huh?
at?
Does Ben notice Thorn being there?
I mean,
Yeah,
probably.
I'd say
She's not hiding
so.
it, but she's...
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of snaps out of it. Oh, Hey, Thorn.
What are
You bite
doing?
into your food, which doesn't have any food on it. It's just a fork.
Just to play it off cool. Do that. I'm
She's just
you
looking at
know.
you like, what are you doing?
You know how sometimes you're replaying an event in your head and what you wish you would have said, and you zone out.
No.
Okay, well, I'm just having a meal then.
Uh-huh.
What are
Okay.
you up to?
Embarrassing myself, apparently.
Oh, it's okay. It happens to everyone.
You know, that actually doesn't make me feel better, but thanks.
Well, if you want, you can have a bit of my food because yours spilled.
Don't pity me. And she like puts her hood over and she like hides in it like a kid.
I'm not pitying you. I just don't really have a big appetite.
She's just sat there by the fire with her hood over her, like just pulled over her head,
How
trying to
old are
hide
you?
herself. She like puts her hood up a bit. 19.
Oh, you're quite young.
Yeah. How old are you?
23. Not too young, not too old.
Yeah. She really wants to just go away and hide, so she's gonna just put her head back over her head.
Well, alright then. Talk to you later, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Is Fennel around somewhere?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Fennel will
How are
walk
you?
over now with his plate of food as I are. Hello everyone, hope
Um,
you're all having a good evening.
Yeah, how are you liking the food?
It's okay. It's food. I've had better,
Yeah,
but I'm grateful someone made this for me. It's lovely.
I mean,
I don't know
food
who
on
made
the
it.
road, I guess.
Well, you never know. Some people are experts cooking on the road, going traveling. I hear there's traveling chefs or traveling what do you call them, brewers and oh, I hear druids are very good with like picking foods in the wild and things like that. Speaking
I
of
guess so.
being on the roads,
Oh,
address to everyone. So, what do you have any fun memories of being on the road, or places that you've travelled to, or curiosities that you've seen?
um, I like performing in taverns. I don't know if I say I have a favorite, but it's like a highlight of my travels.
What kind of performances?
Oh, mostly just like some singing, playing the lute, a couple of party tricks with magic and stuff like that. I'm best at birthday parties for kids. They seem to get entertained by that the most.
Well, what do you sing about?
Um, Depends, I guess, on the occasion. I try to write my own songs, but sometimes the more popular ones get more coins, so
Gotta,
depends on the crowd.
gotta give them what the crowd wants.
Ah, well, when your next breakfast depends on it, you kind of have to.
What about you, Thorn?
What about
Any?
you?
Sorry, Thorn. I'll take this one first. What have I enjoyed seeing since arriving in Calceria? Well, I've been to quite a few small little places. Like I said, I've met a few odd travellers. Travelling brewer was an odd one. Makes beer. Beer's quite nice, or ale. I like that. But he makes on the road. Very strange. I heard from them that there's someone who really is an expert with honey. They set up shop somewhere.
You've actually met them.
Not the honey ale person, but the traveling alesman, yes. So that was quite a curiosity.
Do you not have stuff like that in the ocean?
Not traveling alesmen. No, our drinks will probably lean more towards the spirits, I think is what you call them, yeah.
There's spirits in the ocean. Just again, look of horror goes pale. I don't know if I really like your home, Finel.
What's wrong? What do you mean? What's wrong with spirits? I know you're afraid of the ocean, but spirits are just a liquid. You drink water, don't you? How'd you survive?
What? What do you mean you drink spirits?
What do you mean? What do I mean? Oh, you mean like souls, spirits? Oh, I mean.
Oh, what did you think?
No, you know alcohol. You know when it's small and condensed, and you drink it in short bursts. Spirits.
No, I don't drink alcohol.
Ah, well, that's a whole other world for you to learn.
No, thank you. I don't like to drink souls of people.
They're not souls. They're not spirits. They're not those kind of spirits. It's just the name of the liquid or the types of liquid.
I have reasons to doubt your claim.
Oh gosh.
I don't know how much of this is Robbie or Ben.
The line is very blurred.
All I can think of right now is that meme where it's like somebody coming back from a spaceship, grabbing a gun. It's like, what's going on? It's like, moon's haunted. What? Moon's haunted. Except that with the sea. Like, sea's haunted.
But no, I don't believe in spirits lingering or anything like that. I'm sure maybe there are spirits. There's lots of strange things that are happening in the different planes and worlds and things, but I know nothing about them.
So there is no sea ghosts, is what you're trying to tell me.
Not that are just wandering around like it's their home. If they are there, they're well hidden.
Okay. That eases me only a little bit, but good. The image of you just slurping up a ghost will never leave my mind, though.
That's what I have to say.
Ben just starts like zoning out. He's gone.
I'm not sure how that would taste.
Like, laughing at that.
Slurp up that ectoplasm.
No!
Oh, why did you have to word it like
No! Max!
So Dane,
No!
what's Slow Dane up to?
Yeah, no, you know, he's got his knife and fork out. He's just going to town on, a ghost of all things. Probably would have probably been once Rory's free.
Mm-hmm.
Is going to try and have a word about any deliveries and just saying it's follow up from whoever got into Dargar's room because they were leaving documents around.
One point you see Rory kind of like finishes serving the food for everyone and then begins to eat by himself as well. He sees you want to talk, so he just kind of like sets his plate down. Yes, how can I help you?
Hey there, Rory.
Hey there.
So it's just still following up on who broke into your boss's room.
Yes.
As well as just because my own files were involved.
Have you heard the rumors of what is inside?
I've heard some rumors, and frankly, the less I hear, the better I feel. So, yeah, best of luck with that if any of them turn out to be true. The only thing I wanted to know is anybody been receiving, like, any packages that got me a bit worried? Like, because all of everything I can see, it looks like somebody might have been coerced. And I want to see if there's anything I can do at this point.
That is quite a strange assumption. We've received packages throughout my time in Lindell. I have delivered them out one by one, but I'm still doing the deliveries, so I can have a look to see if there's anything pending. As well, let's see. I did make a delivery today, actually. I handed over one thing to Sarah.
Right. Jacob is one of the people I'm looking into. So that do you know what that was? Was it just a letter? Any packages or?
It was about this big, and he gestures, and it's kind of like a small little box. And for him, it's small. So for you, it's like in the size of your palm. Well, I do not know. I don't. I just find whatever in the back, and if it's tagged with someone's name, I give it to them. But you can ask them. I'm sure they would be happy to share, unless it is something that, just like Daga, they don't want to share.
Pry too much. It's like I said, at this point I've got to run down every possibility, and like this is the part of my job that's not so fun. It's a lot of the busy work.
I will say that she looked to know where the package was from. She smiled, so she knew of it at least. So it's not like it was a random admirer. I don't think so, at least.
Right. Well, that's good to know. Much appreciated, Rory. You get back to your food, and thanks
By the
for coming up
way,
again.
I think I saw there was a package for you as well.
Oh, that's odd. Yeah. Do you know where it is? I can grab it if you
No,
rather get back to your food.
I'll go and get it for you. It's fine. Do you need it now,
Okay.
or would you like it later?
Yeah, I'd sooner rather than later. But you
Okay.
finish food first.
All right. And just kind of continues to eat their food at a laxy-daisy pace.
Yeah. I'm gonna head over to Sarah and Jacob then.
Okay. You can see at this point, Hank and Hunter have like gone about their business, gone and walked off to someone else. The two of them are just kind of talking to each other for a moment. You see Sarah kind of leaning her head against his shoulder, and he's just kind of like scrunching her hair slightly and just talking to her. They see you walk over, give a wave. Hi.
Hi there, you two. So
Have you
I'm
got
just
any more
still.
questions for me?
I do actually. You see,
Oh,
I'm just doing my rounds. I'm following up every lead. I'd rather, Darga, I know I've locked into everything, and I'd rather not test if any of the rumors I've heard are true. So it's just at this point, somebody's got into somebody got to the twins and asked them to steal something in the first place. So I'm basically seeing if anybody's received any letters, offers, anything that has them worried or maybe in a position where they might be asked to do something they wouldn't want to do. And Rory said that you got a letter last, so just wanted to check. Was there anything like in that? Anything you want any help with? Like at this point, if I'm right on that front and it's coercion, you've got less to worry about.
you see Jacob kind of like looks at you for a moment, and then Sarah just takes her head off his shoulder and looks over to you. Yes, we did receive a package, but it's from an old friend. Nothing to do with this investigation.
Yeah, I'm inside checking the hell out of that from what
Go
Vaughn
for it.
told me. 22.
22. You look into them and you see that she kind of like hesitates at the word friend, and it's almost like it's like the word was forced onto her tongue, and she wasn't happy to say it. So whatever package they received wasn't from anyone that they would deem friends or acquaintances. This is like someone they don't even want to mention. But they seem to be truthful about the fact that it doesn't have to do anything with what you're asking about.
Okay. Look, I'll go level with you both here. It doesn't sound like it's connected, but that did sound good.
Sorry?
I mean, what? You didn't get a letter from a friend?
You see they both look at each other.
Look, I've been here a while. You know what it is I do. If there's something you need looked into, let me know. You might not think it's connected. It might be connected.
You see Jacob kind of looks around and then leans in closer to you. And how do I know that I can trust you? You're pointing fingers. You could be a crooked cop, doing anything you want, getting the information. How do I know that I can trust you with anything I say?
Well, one, as per my agreement with your boss, I'm not getting paid for jobs I do for people in the circus. So I've got no monetary incentive to, be messing you up. It also sounds like, I'm looking into something that's been stolen from myself. Somebody knows that I'm in, because apparently I've got a letter that's been handed to Rory. So basically, you can trust me because self-interest is involved here.
Persuasion check.
Sure. Persuasion. 27.
Yes.
If you want to talk about it, we'll talk about it in private.
No worries here. Let me know when's a good time. And look, I promise I've only got the best of intentions. And if you're being threatened, look, I've been here for a while. I kind of like everybody here, with the exception of the fucking buggers. Just gestures to wherever the halflings are.
They're still cleaning the caravans.
Yeah. So, look, whatever happens with this, promise I've only got your best interests in mind. As for now, leave you to it, and I'm gonna have food, and let's see if anything what Rory gives me is earth-shattering. I really fucking hope not.
You see, as you say that, Jacob just nods his head. Meet us in our van, and we'll talk about it after this meal. You see, Sarah just responds, Thordain, we like you too, but there's things that we don't want to make you a part of this. If you're involved, he will know, okay? And once he knows, there's no turning back.
I want to do another insight. This isn't suspicion.
Mm-hmm.
This is
to see the heft of what she's saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, go for it. So just a straight roll.
19.
You see, she stares into you with her light blue eyes, and as she's saying it, she's welling up. You can see the sides of her eyes get red, and she kind of like leans in closer to you. We've tried sharing this information to people before, and they don't make it out. So if you think you're fucking capable, then we'll tell you. But his fucking hands are everywhere.
I can tell you this much, it ain't a matter of think, it's a matter of knowing. But I appreciate the warning.
They both give a nod. And they both kind of like smile as they pull themselves out of it, and then look around the rest.
I'll leave you both to it, and I'll go off. I'll find everyone else and park my ass with them.
Okay. You find the rest of the party members, you kind of sit with them. Time continues. Eventually, one by one, all of the members begin to head off. At this point, Rory walks up towards you, Thordain. If you want, I can go and get it now.
That'd be much appreciated, Rory.
All right. It'll be about 5 minutes. He begins to roll away and goes to get it.
That'll be so fucking handy for getting around. I've only got short little legs.
Just rolls off. So you're left there with the rest of the group for about 5 minutes. You see Sarah and Jacob nod towards you and then kind of like gestures to their caravan as they head in. Dargar just kind of walks over to your troop and just says, "Well, thank you for coming and enjoying our first meal together. Sorry about any sort of awkward behavior. Usually we're a bit more upbeat and have a bit more of a song and dance, but hopefully tomorrow night, once this is all quelled over and people's minds are settled."
Could I help with tomorrow's dinner?
Well, of course you can, then. I'm sure Rory would very much appreciate it.
Okay, I'll let him know then.
Excellent. Then, good night, everyone. And he begins to head off to his room.
Was Thorn able to catch anything from, not like words, but seeing Thodane and Sarah and Jacob interact? Was she able to catch
Your eyes have been on Sarah and Jacob throughout the night, so you kind of like see that conversation happen between them, and you know like the background, but you can't see like the intent or the what was spoken. So you just see them have had a conversation.
Okay. I'm not gonna say anything to him, but I'm just looking at Thodane like, hey, tell me something. You know, like, is there anything going on? Tell me something. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just saying with my eyes, like staring at him.
I'll just give her a nod and like hold up my fingers like 1 minute. So I want to get that letter before I make my next move.
Alright. I'll wait until I get the go ahead.
Ven and Fennel, what are you guys up to?
I think Ben's gonna scurry off to his room after that.
Okay.
Yeah, Fennel
Unless Fennel wants to talk.
will share a couple more stories with whoever still sits around the campfire, or that's where we're all eating, and eventually make his way to bed as well.
Okay. You share a couple more stories as the rest of them wait expectingly for Rory. Then you head off early to bed. Same as everyone else. Yeah.
I think he would want to talk to his friends before he goes to, but we can do that later.
Okay.
If you want to do the Thodane thing first.
Sure. You kind of take a moment, wait there expectantly. Then, Thodane, you see Rory arrive, small package as he emerges from his kind of rolled position, hands the package out to you. It's small as well, kind of like kept bound in with a small kind of string in a small box. Hands it over to you. There's no from on this. It just says Thodane for you.
Much appreciated, Rory. I'll give this a gander. Have a good night now.
You too. Good night, everyone. It just rolls off.
I'll open it and I'm going to open it carefully. I'm feeling paranoid.
Okay. How carefully do you go? What tools or what sort of methods are you going about this?
Is it a bit much to say, can I get my thieves' tools and just be like gingerly one by one? Because I've got it in my own head. I've got it in
Just
my
like
head.
poke it.
Yeah.
You pull out like a scalpel knife, basically like a palette knife. You kind of go between where the glue and the paper is kind of like stuck together. You pull those free one by one. Eventually undo the bow of string on top, and then all of the paper begins to fold away. And then inside you have a box. You have a very kind of plain brown box with a lid on top.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Gingerly opening the box as well.
Okay. You open the box, and you see resting inside, there is two things. You see one of them is a stone, a small stone with a picture of a face on it. Next to that, you see basically a paper, a small bit of parchment that's just been left there by the side.
Right. Do I recognize the face?
The face seems to be. You can roll an Arcana or a history check.
Okay, I will make that. Arcana. 17.
17. This seems to be a carved stone which has a magical property of sending. This one in particular seems like it can only go to one person. So whoever has the other one can receive and send messages to this stone as well.
Right. Okay. And the parchment?
The parchment is of a similar making to the one that was left behind for the halflings. You see, as you unroll it, there is letters that have been taken out of other bits of media, be it magazines or kind of like news clippings, and have been made in a way where lettering and words have been formed together and sentences are written down. You see written on it in common, it reads, "A pleasure to meet you, Thodane. I apologize that we cannot speak in person. However, I applaud you for your efforts in investigation and journalism. Your documents have been very helpful for me. And seeing we're going to the same place, perhaps I will see you very soon. Best regards, Anonymous."
Right. Yeah, he's gonna fold that up and pocket it. And I know you just told me what it was. I'm gonna cast Identify
Mhm.
on the sending stone to see if there's anything more than the obvious to it.
Yeah. You cast Identify, you see the magical element of it. It is a one-time use per day item, and you are limited to 50 words. And those 50 words go to one person, the other end of this stone. So there are two stones that are basically connected through a ethereal line. Tracing that line, you can see that it just goes up into the sky and then just kind of like vanishes into the ether of the rest of the magical weave that surrounds Kurthayek.
Okay. No trace. Where?
The rest of you see as Dana's opening this package, pulls out the stone, reads out this fucking weird looking letter. Yeah.
I'll just whisper over to whoever's next to me. Is it normal to gift each other stones in this country?
I think it's probably Thorn. She's. Well, I mean, kinda. I give Thorn. I give Sienna stones sometimes.
No way. Wow.
But
That's okay. So stones are valuable. How do I know this already?
well, yes and no. It's complicated, I guess.
It's fine. I will work this out. I will find good stones.
This is a sending stone.
Okay. To who? Do you know?
Nope. Which is not encouraging, especially when I get a letter that looks like this, and I just show it for the very clearly pieced together jigsaw of a message.
Yeah. Gonna look at it and I'll say, "Can I see the stone?"
Yep. And I'll hold it up, but I'm not handing it over.
Fair enough. I'll inspect them.
Okay, roll an Arcana check.
Okay. Do. CX.
Does anybody else want to investigate this stone?
Sure.
It's a 6.
Okay, Arcana checks all around.
I'll
It's
do mine
the
at
stone.
disadvantage, though.
Okay,
5.
Yay!
nice.
Yep.
So that is a good stone. Okay, I'll look for stones like this and give them as gifts.
Okay. Right. For now, these are used to communicate with somebody from far away. It's paired to another one.
Do you know if it's on right
Oh,
now?
you've got magic pebbles. I see.
Okay, this is gonna be a thing, isn't it?
Sorry. Sorry, where I'm from, we use pebbles. We don't refer to them as stones.
Okay. Well,
I've heard of
differences
them.
in nomenclature aside, I don't know who it goes to. I did a little bit of checking myself. It's one message a day, about 50 words. It's not on right now, from what I can tell. I've not activated it. And I'm not going to right now. But right now I'm going to have a word with a couple of people and see if this is connected to what's going on with them. Thank you for the tip, Fawn.
Oh, you sure it might be from a friend? They might be waiting for their goodnight message.
I can't tell if you're mocking me, and that's frustrating.
Well, there might not be any harm in using it. That might be the quickest way to find the answers you're looking for.
Not now, though.
Yep. Right now I have an actual lead, and I'd rather get more information before I use the limited resource that this provides.
Well, it sounds like it's one a day. We're near the end of the day.
And it's better to go into these kind of things with as much information as possible.
Okay. It's your pebble.
It's a sending stone. It's a sending stone.
Sending stone,
Stone.
sending
It's a
pebble,
stone.
same thing.
Don't you condescend to a dwarf about rocks.
Not condescending. Hey, to me they're pebbles. I'm not being condescending.
I think Thorn's gonna stand up. And she'll look to Thodane as if like lead the way, like she's gonna join you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just going to look for it. So you aren't coming into that room with me.
What do you mean?
So, have you ever heard of Good Guard, Bad Guard?
Yes.
Okay, we're not doing the second half of that. And I don't think you're good at the first part.
I wasn't intending to be bad guard, really. I want to know what's going on.
And I will be sharing that, because at this point you've pointed me in that direction, and I'd feel like a dick if it didn't. Look, I'm trying to have a pleasant conversation, and when we first met, you tried to, threaten me, and you made a man shit his pants. Out of fear.
I apologize to you.
Oh, and I accepted the apology. That doesn't change the facts of the matter that, your presence has a proven track record of making people shit their pants.
Whilst this is happening, Ven, you kind of watching from the sidelines, preparing to kind of speak to your party before you head off. You see a flash of light illuminate and then go into the shadows of the trees.
Excuse me? What? They did seem magical to me, or?
It seems to be somewhat of a magical flame, yeah.
He's gonna go towards it.
Okay.
While
Roll
they're
a survival or perception check for me.
Will do, boss. Survival or perception, you said?
Yeah.
We'll do survival, because I have a +5. 16.
16. You see the trail embers of fire and some snow as something flies
Oh, no.
through into the woods.
Would I
mhm.
recognize it to be similar to what I saw
It is, yeah.
in the... Okay. Does it seem like they're running away?
It does, yeah.
How far are they?
You caught them quite early. They are maybe about 80 feet away from you.
Okay, he's not gonna shut out because he doesn't want to alert anyone else, but he's gonna send a message that's basically like, wait, hold on.
Okay. Roll a persuasion check.
Okay. Da-da-da-da-da. Come on, persuasion. 19.
You see it just stop in place. You see the form of Gemini, both sides of Jacob and Sarah formed into one shape. You see it just stop there and hover in place. The message comes back. You see the form turns to you. Just let us go.
Where are you going?
Away from here.
Why? Did something happen?
You see at this point the form kind of like stops flying and just sets itself onto the ground. And you see just kind of like looks to its hands on both sides, and the form splits and apart and becomes Sarah and Jacob once again. And they both kind of just rub the side of their head. You've
What's
stopped
going
them.
on?
You've stopped them in running away. As you approach and begin to ask them, you see one of them, Jacob, is currently on the floor, just kind of like rubbing his head. Sarah pacing around, arms crossed. Bad stuff. Really bad stuff.
What bad stuff?
At this point, the rest of you are seeing this happen, and I imagine are joining in.
I think I'm gonna go into their caravan.
Okay.
I'm gonna find that letter.
You sneak into the caravan, roll an investigation check.
Alright. Investigation.
10.
10.
You look around, but the only thing that you find is a letter that Dave left. Quickly scribbled onto a bit of parchment. You see it left onto the table. Bags missing. Some essential equipment taken from this room. And a note left on the table that says, sorry, but we can't be here anymore. You don't find anything else. The rest of you join up with Ven. Ven, as you continue to question, you see Sophie, not Sophie, sorry. Sarah's the only one who's kind of like talking. And she'll just say, I'm not. The thing is, if we tell you, then you're also in trouble. And you're too nice. You don't deserve it. Why should we burden you with our problems?
Oh, didn't your boss say that everyone there is like family, you know? You shouldn't have to go through something alone if you're struggling. I'm sure everyone would want to help you out, even if it is a little bit dangerous.
But we don't want to be responsible for what happens next. We love them too, but if we let his name slip, then that's it.
Is there any way you can tell us not directly? The spell I casted, you were the only one able to hear it, what I said to you. And you can reply back and only I can hear it. Do you think he would still...
He'll just know. He'll just know, and then you'll be on his radar. And if you are special in any way, he'll want you.
What do you mean?
I'm gonna walk over now.
Mm-hmm.
And I will take off my hood and my bandana. I look at them. It's him, isn't it?
See, they kind of like look over towards you, Thorn. and then look back at each other. He is a twisted monster. They'll do anything to get what they want. Anything. They
Who
just spend
is
the moment to
this?
themselves. At this point, Jacob speaks up. He's a monster. He's not fucking human. He doesn't have a heart. All he has is a wicked spirit. And he'll do anything to get what he wants.
I feel like Ven's turning a little bit pale as they're describing this individual.
Mm-hmm.
Not to worry, I don't think it's a drinkable spirit.
I don't think Ven is registering what you just said, but yeah.
Sarah at this point just responds, we were 23 years ago. 23 years. I never knew Jacob. I never knew him. Only through them that we met. And I guess in the darkness there's a bit of beauty to that. So much dark. Years and years. Cuts, precise incisions. Just to try and find something that isn't even there. So many people have gone, torn apart, ribbons left, friends taken, all to find. And Jacob responds, to find something that can't be found. Perfection. He's a sick, twisted bastard. And he leaves no loose ends. We've been receiving letters maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago, every 5 years. Except for the last 10. We didn't receive any letters until today. Just saying that he knows where we are. He knows what we're doing. And that he could come at any moment and take it all away. And then in this letter, he says that we'll be meeting soon. What a sick fuck.
But
I
why
think-
now?
I don't know. I don't know why now.
I think Thorn's gonna go up to Sarah and she's gonna gently take her hand and put it on her cut that's on her face.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just crying and she's just, I'm sorry.
Sarah doesn't say anything. She just kind of like leans in.
I did it. I said its name. Sorry, I did. Sorry.
She looks into your eyes and no words are needed, as you can almost see his glimmer left behind as an imprint. And there's a recognition that she knows and you know. And she just kind of like holds you closer.
I'm gonna hug her and I'm start crying.
This Jacob pulls out the kind of like half torn paper and places it on the ground next to Thodane. If you want to read it, be my guest.
Yeah, I'll pick it up and look it over.
Can I look it over as well, just to see the handwriting?
You will have to stoop down quite literally to my level.
That's fine.
Sure.
Fennel
Crouches
will,
down.
will
Love you,
also
bro.
lean over.
Okay. The three of you can roll investigation checks into this document if you want.
26.
19.
Oof,
14.
pretty good rolls. Even the parts that are scrumpled together and slightly torn apart in the rage and frustration that was, you begin to notice that the paper itself almost begins to repair. You see the cuts, the marks, they all begin to kind of like form again into the same parchment and document that was there before. A letter that cannot be destroyed and thus will always be left behind. You begin to read it, and there's no kind of name at the bottom. It's not addressed to anyone at the top. It just says, "We'll be meeting soon. I look forward to seeing your development and how much you've grown over these years. I might not be there, but I'll certainly be watching. So put on a good show for me, will you?" And that's all it reads.
Do you think he's referring to the next show?
Like it.
Yeah, you two need to get some lessons in subtext.
You see Jacob musters the strength and he stands up. We found ourselves taken from our homes. I was maybe 6. Sarah was maybe 4. Both taken away. I don't know where we were next. We went from hoods, dark places, moving on from one place to the next. Never staying in one, never getting familiar with the surroundings. I can't give you any more information of that. But it was dark. It was lonely, and the only thing that I had to comfort myself was Sarah. 2 of us, we were chained at the hip. I didn't know who she was, she didn't know who I was, and we were the only ones. We only had each other. Never saw anyone else. Except for them. They would make incisions and experiment on us. They'd never show their faces, except for him. He was proud of it. He watched with a smile on his face, sick and twisted as he was. I guess the experiments were a success. Because since then, 2 of us could form as one. We were able to meld into this other thing that we call Gemini. 2 sides of a coin in one body. And the weirdest thing is, he got what he wanted. The experiment was a success, I guess. But he just threw us out. He did his sick and twisted thing and threw us out. I don't know if it was a sign of respect as we made it so far. 15 years. And then thrown away to find ourselves in the world. I don't know. I guess we got lucky. Could have been left there for much longer.
I am so sorry that happened.
It's not your fault. Don't be
I
sorry.
know, but you didn't deserve it. I don't know who this individual is, but I don't think anyone here wants for him to get even more sick and twisted enjoyment out of you. Even if he may have succeeded in his experiment or whatever it was, you two have found happiness and peace outside of what he's done. And I don't think now he has the right to ruin that for you after everything.
Small part of us thought that because he didn't send a message in those 10 years that the fucker died. But I guess the monster still lives.
Where were you taken from?
I don't know. I don't remember my home. All I can say is growing up, the only home I had was that cell. I don't know where I was from. I don't know the family I had. My name isn't even Jacob. I gave that to myself. So I don't know.
Does Daga know about any of this?
Dargon knows a little bit. He knows that we were secluded. He knew that we needed something, a home. We had nothing, so he let us in. And he kept us safe for this long. But if we're receiving messages again, and this place is fracturing already, I don't know if... I don't want to throw what this place represents to the wayside because of our trauma. It's not fair on them. As much as I love them, and they want to save us and protect us, what the circus stands for means more than all of that. It's freedom. It's a chance at a second life.
But won't you have more chances of getting to you if you're alone?
At least other people won't be hurt. And he wouldn't tear us apart, that's for sure. We'll still have each other.
Are you sure about this?
Sarah just speaks up. No, we're not sure about anything.
You should go. You should go. It'll be harder to track you down. He's just one man.
Look at you, and they look at the rest.
I could try to make you invisible for a little bit.
It won't help.
So are you sure?
Yeah. He knows where we all are. His eyes never leave.
Do you know how he keeps his eyes on you?
He's always known how to send the packages. So I know there's magic in the world that can track. But maybe he has more methods. I'm sure his experiments would have led to something.
Just stay safe, please. I wouldn't want anything happening to you too. Even if I've only known you for a little bit.
Jacob walks over and picks up Sarah's hand and lifts her up. As they kind of grasp each other, they fall back into that singular form of ice and fire, and they look over towards you. Please tell Dargo we're sorry, and everyone else. There's a letter in our caravan.
Can
And-
I?
yeah.
I want to hold out my hand. I'm sorry. Wish we could-
Can you say that again, Cassie? Can't really hear you.
It's not
Sorry,
picking
sorry.
up on your microphone.
Okay, yeah, got it. I'll just say, I'm sorry, and I wish you good luck.
They
No.
smile
Mm.
with a slight half smile. If there's one thing that the circus has taught us is there's no luck. And they just leave. Like a shooting star going through the night sky, you see the burning embers of Gemini just grow slower, smaller and smaller as they fly away, and eventually completely out of sight. And I think we'll end the session there, as it is late, and we've kind of hit the 7 o'clock mark. So there we go, ending it on a sour note.
Yay!
Oh
It's
well.
my birthday!
Happy birthday to you.
Great. Sentient experimentation. That's a fucking
Yay!
Yay!
session one,
We
guys.
love it.
We did
We
say we'd
love
stop
it.
holding back for you now.
Yeah, you did say that. Ay, ay.
That's episode 1. There we go. Congratulations.
Episode 1.
Hey, here's at least one conspiracy, probably more. Oh, wonderful! That's I
Hey, we're
didn't
giving you work, man.
I didn't need to have pleasant dreams or to be able to sleep through the night. No, I didn't need that. I didn't need that at all.
That's
Who
fine.
does?
Same.
In Max's campaigns, our
Our
characters don't
first-
sleep anyway.
There we go.
Our first BBG and their powerful, all-seeing, experimenting dickhead.
If it turns
Man.
into more
Jesus Christ.
ghost, I'm gonna be mad.
Also,
just-
thank you everyone in the chat. You were
Thank you for
great
joining.
as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching along with us. It's nice to have you guys here. So that was episode 1. We'll pick up maybe the following, not next week, but the week after, because Easter holidays, but we'll see what we do during next week. But yeah, if you're still watching, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe,
Go to
Follow
our
us.
YouTube.
follow us,
Yeah.
social media, etc.,
Yes.
etc.
Smash that like button. We'll find out who you hate the most. We'll put the like button over their face so you can punch it.
Smash.
Yeah.
Smash.
If you want the Gemini to live, smash that emotional blackmail.
Oh my god.
If you want them to die, hit the dislike button. Let's go.
Don't give them
If
that
you want them to
power.
die, subscribe.
No.
If you would like Ven to make a new character, press 1.
Then, not me, not Robbie, just Van is
Robbie.
making his own D&D character in
Oh
the
my
caravan.
god.
They play in a fictional world where people go work in offices and pay taxes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But there's a name for it.
The
But what
Office.
is it?
Sure
It's
there
like
is.
humans and humans and houses. or
Welcome to
something.
welcome to Paychecks and Sadness, the new fantasy TV RPG.
Welcome to the Rich Housewives of Kurthayek. You join us.
that would be it. That would be it. Fuck all
look.
this.
I'm ready for that one shot.
Hell yeah.
That
Our
would be
character's
Just
great.
playing
modern
fucking Daddy
AU
House
over
vibes.
characters.
We'll put
Oh,
fake
Okay,
nails
okay,
on. We'll
ready-
get our eyelashes
You don't roll
done.
your stats till you hit
Oh my
puberty
God.
and you have no control.
Sell
over them.
drugs. No, I'm kidding.
Okay,
But yeah,
so
thank you, everyone.
we'll end the stream there. Thank you very much. Frey, do you know how to do it?
Oddly
We're just
enough,
stuck
the
here
start
forever.
button says stop now, so I'm going to assume it's that one. So, well,
Let's do it.
I haven't got the fade outs yet. I'll do that for